Oh, we're live on YouTube. I didn't test our levels yet, so
testing.
You look pretty good.
Okay.
You sound good. You look good too.
Cool. Thanks.
We're here with Dane Willard. This is pretty exciting. This is episode 82. Got it right this time. Last episode I said the wrong episode.
I know. I was gonna type in the chat like this guy doesn't even know his own number of his episode.
Yeah, math's hard, but I think a lot of people watching this probably know who you are to some degree. I know who you are.
That's why you invited me on.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting because, I mean, we don't really talk much. You moved out of town, and we're like, hey, let's just have our first conversation in quite a while, live on camera.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I like it. I'm into it.
Well, you're like a professional at this. Like, you do podcasts on a weekly basis. I do like one every like 4 months, maybe, if that.
But you're no stranger to being on camera.
No. Yeah, I have an OnlyFans.
Okay.
Subscribe. $7.99.
Okay. Well,
but then you gotta pay extra shit.
I was wondering how serious we were going to be here.
Well, do you want to get serious? Like when you asked me to come on, I was like, all right, here it goes. We're gonna talk about the Gulag Archipelago. That's what I was looking forward to.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I kind of outlined a relatively serious podcast.
Dude, I love you. You prepare for everything. That's why you're successful.
I mean, successful is highly subjective, but I'm definitely doing things with some success.
Well, you technically, on paper, you have the most successful skate park in the history of Rochester.
That's true.
Longevity-wise.
Yeah.
Including this guy's dad.
Roasted. All right.
Shout out Blaze.
I wanted to start our little episode here by reading you a quote.
Okay.
Okay. It's from Solzhenitsyn in the Gulag Archipelago.
Is it really? That would have been really fun. That boy Alexandre.
Jesus Christ. This is a new one. I never had a podcast where I was like laughing and trying to like keep my composure that way. But
usually,
anyway.
What are you doing?
I was just multitasking and
you're
being
like, you
serious.
have parlette on, you're trying not to get aroused. The guy's attractive.
Yeah. All right. This quote is about skateboarding. There really is nothing else like it. It's a way of expressing myself. It's an art form. The passion I feel for it is really something that I can't explain. It's really intense. It's definitely the biggest part of my life. It's all I want to do, and it's all I think about. Actually, it's why I wake up every day. You know who said that?
Dude, I'm pretty sure that I said that in like some like Democrat and Chronicle nonsense like in like 2011 or something. Is that me?
That is you.
Okay. It's like in some like interview or something, right?
Yes, I was interviewing you.
Oh, you interviewed me?
Yes. So Kevin was here from the beginning of the BFS, and I once
Back in 88.
I was actually Blaze, who's off camera, was in this video too. I was gonna do a GoFundMe, and I interviewed you and Blaze and some parents because I frankly needed financial support. I ended up not even posting the video and not doing the GoFundMe. I went a different route for funding. But you said
I hooked it up.
You did. Yeah, you hooked it up. But you said that to me. So is that still true?
No, dude. What the hell? Okay. No, it's still a big part of my life. I love it, but like I think I was exaggerating too. Like I forget the context under which you asked me that question, but I was obviously like on some level bullshitting when I said it though. I was exaggerating and trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but it is the biggest thing in my life. It's like overall, like, you know what I mean? It's like it's the one thing that I've done forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like since, I don't know, I've probably been doing it for like 20 plus years.
Well,
I still do it.
That video
Even though I'm
was
an ass now.
That video was 8.5 years ago, and in that video you said you've been doing it for a decade. So that would be 18.5 years, and you just said 20.
I said over a decade in that quote, didn't I?
Not in that quote.
I said a decade, like on the dot.
In the video,
I'll split hairs.
I rewatched the video today.
Oh, I say it like out loud. Like that's like I say that in.
But you said
like,
you've been skating
film.
for over a decade, or about a decade.
Like I said it out loud in a video.
Yes.
Oh, okay, and then you transcribed it.
Well, not in this quote. I'm just recalling it from memory. I rewatched the video today, and both of your guys' quotes, blazing.
What did Blaze say?
Blaze said something about how
He was
BMX
like, I do be biking.
Yeah, basically, that's what he said.
Yeah.
He said that is a sense of community that comes along with BMX, where no matter where you go, you're going to have friends, and that it's important to have places like skate parks. That's where these friends meet, and that's where you can, you can go. You said something along the lines of, I could go to another town in another city in another part of the country, and I know I'm going to meet someone that I'm going to be friends with.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I had another thing. This girl, Modesta, her father, I think his grandfather, I don't remember. He's since passed away, but he was telling about how it was so important for his grandkids to have this outlet. And yeah, again, I never put out that video, and I always figured one day I would.
Pull it up?
No. It's pretty hilarious because I'm pretty decent at talking to cameras now, and I made that video. I was like horrendously bad at it.
Yeah, you came a long way.
Yeah, it definitely came a long way.
Dude, it's crazy. That was fucking 9 years ago. Speaking of a decade, it's almost been a decade since you opened the park.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
And like I said, you were a big part of the beginning of it, and we're going to talk more about the BFS beginnings in the second half.
Yeah.
But
Well, obviously, without me, this place wouldn't exist.
yeah. But the first half here, I just want to talk about you a little bit. So, what are you doing these days?
I'm in Austin. I work at a comedy club. I started comedy like 6 years ago. It's probably like when this place was open for a few years. And then, I don't know, I've just been kind of pushing it. Like, it's kind of like skateboarding, like, in a way where, like, skateboarding, I don't know, I was probably like 20, like late teens. I was like, okay, there's like pretty much zero chance this is going to be, I'm going to go pro, let alone like it would be a career. Because a lot of people go pro and then it's still not like a real career. Like when I was really young, I was like, okay, it's not going to be a career. And then when I was like late teens, I was like, all right, it's going to be nothing except, like, all this is it's just purely for my own, like, individual enjoyment, like satisfaction. Like, what can I push myself to do? And I'm not going to get anything out of it. It's not going to be anything. So I'm just like blindly like pushing forward on something that's not going to give anything back to me as far as like life success in any way. And so then with comedy, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm used to wasting my life already. Like, I'm trained to do this from skateboarding. And with comedy, like, really my only goal is, like, how good can I get at this? And then also, like, how can I express myself creatively through, like, stand-up and also, like sketch and just writing in general. So, like, I haven't really, like, I'm, like, 6 years in, but I haven't really put any goals on paper of, like, this is exactly what I want to do. I'm just like, okay, I'm blindly pushing forward creatively to see where I can go with it and then maybe set some goals later. But, like, for now, it's just basically still, like, I could be wasting my life. Like, and that's okay with me because I love it enough to, like, justify that. Like, this dude, Kyle Kinane, I don't know if you ever heard of him.
My favorite comedian.
Is he really your favorite comedian?
I was really about to quote that earlier.
Yeah.
Because he's my favorite.
Well, you know what quote I'm about to say?
Maybe. Go on.
Okay, Kyle Kinane basically said, with regard to pursuing stand-up as a career, only go after it if you're okay with doing it the rest of your life for free. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I didn't know that.
And, yeah, I met him recently, and I actually said that to him because I was like, was that you? I was like, are you the one that said that? And he was like, yeah, that was me, and that's true. Like, you're going to fail. He looked me right in my eyes and was like, yeah, you'll fail. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that.
Well, I have a quote for you.
Yeah.
Comedy is surprises. If you're intending to make somebody laugh and they don't laugh, that's funny.
Yeah.
You know who said that?
No.
Norm Macdonald.
Oh, really? Yeah. Norm's the best. Yeah, it's funny, too, because, like, when you say something and it falls flat, like, you can just be like, well, that didn't work. And then the audience will laugh a lot of the time, which is, like, when I was starting out, I used to think, like, oh, you don't want that laugh because it doesn't, like, count. But you actually need that laugh to continue forward with your set because, like, the reason why you get that pop is there was a tension building that you didn't cut through with any skillful punchline. So then you acknowledge that and it cuts the tension and then it gets a little bit of a laugh and then you're just able to continue.
Yeah.
But if you just, like, didn't acknowledge it and kept pushing forward, then you're making it harder for the next joke to hit.
Yeah. Well, is there an analog between comedy and skateboarding? Like all the tries when you're on the journey of landing the trick or getting the next learn versus when you're on, on stage trying out new material and people aren't laughing. Is there an analogy there? Like,
Yeah. I've heard a bunch of people compare it in different ways, surprisingly enough, because, like, first of all, you're alone. So, like, it's up to you. Like, you don't have any help. Like, I met Dimitri Martin one time. You know who he is?
nope.
Okay. He's a great one-liner comedian, kind of like how, like, Mitch Hedberg was and
I like
Stephen
that
Wright.
style, yeah.
Yeah, he's, like, basically, like, if someone that knew a lot about comedy had to pick a third guy, he is the third one from those guys.
Okay.
But he used to skateboard too, and he basically was like, yeah, it's like it's kind of like when you're skating in a parking lot just fucking around, like that's like an open mic, and then like when you're in a contest, that's like blah blah blah. Like he was like drawing all the parallels or whatever,
That's
and I was
fair.
like, yeah, it's close enough, but like really, it's it's a lot of persistence and lonely at times. Like to really put when you're like really trying to push it, I guess. I'm gonna silence this.
Yeah, well, certainly you've had your fair share of falls, skating, and getting hurt, and I'm sure you've had your fair share of people not laughing.
Yeah.
So what hurts more, the slams or when you're up there on the stage and it's just not landing?
That's a good question because both definitely suck. But I don't know. I think like in a bomb most of the time, like no one's laughing or it's not going great. It's easier to brush it off as like, it comes with the territory. Like there's because it's mental pain. Like there's no physical pain, obviously. So like when you remind yourself like, oh, this literally happens to every comedian that's ever lived, including like Richard Pryor. You're like, am I better than him? Obviously not. And am I like above failing? Obviously not. So it's just like, I mean, it might feel bad in the moment, but like you just continuously remind yourself of the fact that it's inevitable. And then you're like, okay, well, that happened because it's going to happen. And as it's happened to everybody in history that's ever done this. So I would say skating, obviously, like if you fucking hit your nuts on a rail, like you can't be like, well, it happens to everybody. Like, no, it fucking hurts like for a long time.
Yeah.
Way worse. Skateboarding is honestly a lot harder than stand-up, like for your average person, certainly, because the thing about stand-up is anyone can just start doing it and convince themselves that they should have started. Like, there's a lot of people that do it that have absolutely zero business starting, and they should, quit immediately if they had any sense. Like, they can keep doing it and get on stage literally night after night and be like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, this makes sense. Skateboarding, it's like, dude, if you can't like get both feet on it without eating shit, like you would just stop. But like basically that's like the parallel to what some people are capable of, yet they're convincing themselves that they're doing a 900.
There's similar thing in music where there are people who are not really that good at it, but they are like convinced that they're awesome, and they are very brazen, and they're like just ready to play in front of people. And then you'll find people who are actually talented are way more like self-critical. They're way more like, I don't know if I want to play this. I'm not sure if this is good yet. Like it's definitely
it's like that. What's it called? That Dunning effect.
Oh, Dunning-Kruger. Yeah.
Dunning-Kruger. Yeah.
Yeah, but some people just stay on that part where they're retarded.
Yeah, which I don't agree with the use of that word because I myself am retarded, so I take offense to that.
Do that. Listen, as long as Trump's in office, we're allowed to say retarded again. So we got about 4 years. So I'm getting them in, and then I'm gonna pack them back up and put them in the closet.
Can
when we're
you
done.
see the chat live? Because I just want to see if anyone's disagreeing with your word choice.
There's no.
And you might get banned too,
There's
depending
nobody-
on where you're live.
You're swearing. All I said was the R word.
What did I say?
You were swearing.
The fuck?
Jesus Christ. So now we're a comedy podcast.
But you're allowed to say fuck. Retarded is dicey.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
Blaze said that's fair.
I also never stop saying retard.
Well, you guys are bad people, man.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, we
my
got
uncle's
no one
retarded.
in the live chat here. So
Do you want this to be both people's?
yeah, that'd be good. It must have moved at some point. But we're not on. I could switch to that view right now. Wow, look,
That's-
GoPro. The GoPro's moving. Wow. Sorry for our audio listeners. All right. Well,
All right.
that's fun.
Let's go to Scholznitz.
That's hilarious. Have you read the Gulag Archipelago?
Nah, but I just remember you would always talk about it, dude.
Dude, it was crazy.
You would
man.
always bring up the Gulag. I'm like, dude, we get it. The Soviet Union is bad.
That's pretty much the book.
Yeah.
You,
So-
you didn't read it either.
I listened to a lot of it.
Oh, never
It was
mind.
the only thing that was in my audiobook, and I was driving through Utah, and
Okay.
I lost.
That boy Alex, the whole book. You don't get it, dude. It was traumatic, seriously. Oh, then really, how'd you escape then, dude?
There are people who say that it's mostly fabricated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are honest critics of Solzhenitsyn
Yeah.
saying that it's just like everything. Like Nazi sympathizers are really in right now because anti-Semitism is in. So you hear a similar thing, but there are people who are like, oh, it wasn't that bad, and he kind of fabricated it to whatever. And
Yeah, people are like really getting away with some wild anti-Semitism right now. But I mean, the war makes it a little easier.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely an interesting time.
I'm Jewish,
Are you? No, you're not.
like at heart.
Okay.
Yeah, just in relation to the war.
I saw some article. We're like way in left field now. I saw some article and it was like,
Rayfield.
because in on X or Twitter, there's since it's pretty unfiltered now, you'll see some pretty anti-Semitic stuff, and it was like, study shows that 85% of people in Israel aren't actually ethnically Jewish to Ashkenazi Jews, and it was someone like retweeted. It was never forget that this exists. Like,
Never forget what this statistic exists.
Yeah,
Is
like-
that even true?
yeah, whether it's true or not, it's like why does he's like they're not real Semites. Like, what does that even like?
I don't know.
It's so weird.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I doubt that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look it up. Blaze.
Jamie-
Yeah, sorry.
No.
I don't even got a computer.
Looking up the ethnicity
Yeah.
of people in Israel.
So what you say you do sketch comedy. You do like your videos. Some of them are pretty funny.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't think any of them were not that funny. So they're all pretty solid.
Oh, really? Yeah, I feel like I've made like a decent amount where I just like I'm like this isn't even worth posting. Like I'll make some shit and then abandon it like a lot of the time.
Are you doing that to hone your craft, or are you doing that to garner a followership?
Well, both. It's like, well, I'm like, sometimes I'll start making something and I can tell like it's trash, but then I'll finish making it just for the practice of like not just like abandoning it. But then I'm like, I choose not to post it just because I don't like it, not because I'm like, oh, this is gonna hurt my account or some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think comedy is easier or harder now?
Then when?
Like, I would say, okay, a lot of times people send me dumb meme things, and I tend to not be amused by any of it because I look at it and I try to boil it down to its most simple thing, and then it's like, oh, this really isn't something that's really actually worth my time. And most content, yeah, most content is like just so surface level, but at the same time, there is so much of it. So it's like it feels like if you're putting out quality content, it's harder to cut through the bullshit, but also maybe people don't want to see. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
Well, you asked me, is comedy harder now than like just like what before the internet was a factor, right?
Pre like the social media era.
Well,
Put the gatekeeping aside, because obviously pre social media, like there was gatekeepers you had to get through.
it's a complicated question, definitely, because like for certain people it would be easier, and then for other people it'd be harder. Like before social media, it was actually easier in the way that there was, first of all, there's less competition because it was less presented as less of a career option to your average person. Like a lot of the people that decided to start doing it, like in the past 5 years, probably wouldn't have even thought to do it. But it's kind of like, everyone's like, so many people are doing it, so then like more people are like, oh, they do it, then I can do it. But like before, and a lot of people are doing it successfully. Like it's funny too, like the club that I work at, like the past year, there's like a ton of headliners that come in, and it's just like someone I've never heard of, but they're just able to sell a ton of tickets anyways because they're big on TikTok or Instagram or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Tons of them.
Really?
So it actually, yeah, it's easier in the way that there's more people than ever buying tickets, and theoretically, like anybody like, for example, if you started posting content that was like comedic and creative, like tomorrow, theoretically within 3 months, you could be selling out a club in Milwaukee. Like, that's actually possible. So it's easier in that way, but it's harder because there's 20,000 people trying to do that.
Okay.
And some people, and it's complicated too, because some of those people that will successfully do that, then they'll get to the club, but then they won't be able to do stand-up for an hour, and then they won't be able to get those people to come back when they try to come back to the club. Because the ultimate goal for most people trying to do stand-up is like to be on the road, selling tickets in cities across the country, and being able to do that year after year to like continue to hone the craft and like create like a special, ideally.
Yeah.
And then the best comedians are creating special year after year, every couple of years.
It seems like it'd be a lot easier just to make skit comedy videos on TikTok than to try to do that.
Yeah, well, if someone's doing sketch comedy on TikTok, then they are also doing stand-up, like a lot of them want to use the sketch to garner the following to then get themselves into the club anyways.
Oh, okay.
So it is easier to do, like, it just depends, like, it's not, because like, you have to like what you're doing too,
Yeah.
like, you know, like if it's forced, then people will not gravitate towards it.
I have a more fundamental question for you.
All right.
Are you funny?
Dude, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, people have laughed when I've talked a decent
When you
amount.
intended them to laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's better when that happens.
Yeah. Why do you people laugh at you when you're not intending it?
Sometimes.
No, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel
Tell
like
me a
I've
joke.
tell you a joke.
Actually, how about this?
That's
Tell
really
me
why.
like the oldest joke you know, like when you were a kid, like what's the one you remember from like, oh, my dad told me this. Classic.
My dad told me this.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got one for you. My dad's deaf, and so he starts laughing when I said my dad's deaf. Like, that's the funny part. This piece of shit. What a dirtbag over here. This guy roos oats. So my dad's deaf. He has a joke. It's he goes, "Why do farts smell?"
So deaf people can enjoy them too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Scumbags. He's supposed to pretend he hadn't heard it.
Oh, let's try again.
Why do farts smell?
I don't know why. Tell me, Kevin.
Because Dave has a weird diet.
Oh, okay.
That boy eating carrots out of a mason jar.
Haven't done that in a while.
Really, what's your diet like nowadays?
Ground beef and ribeyes.
Okay. What, carnivore? Like, not.
Ish.
Okay.
Yeah. I had 3 eggs and jowl bacon today. And then I had a cappuccino. And I had probably about 3/4 of a pound of ground beef in the form of patties. And that's what I ate today.
What do you season it with?
Spring, sometimes summer.
It's pretty good, actually. That boy punny.
No, I get the big pack of ground beef from the store, and then I just season it with whatever I feel like that week. And I mix it
What's
all
your
up.
go-to seasoning?
Sometimes
I feel like you're a cumin guy.
Sometimes I go heavy on the chile powder if I want more of a Mexican feel.
Gates?
yeah, Gates chile. And then this time I went with more like a traditional steak seasoning on my ground beef, a little onion powder,
Okay.
garlic
Well,
powder.
Montreal?
Like a knockoff one, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I just
Wegmans
mix it
brand's
all
not
up
bad.
and pre-make like 7 pounds worth of patties, and I just eat
Put it in the
them.
blender?
No.
Take a sip.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
That's awesome.
So how often are you doing stand-up? You said you work at the club, but you like to clean toilets, something like that?
Literally, yeah. It's like cleaning shit out of a toilet at the club. Like sometimes it's weird. Like when I'll be scheduled on the clock. I'll be on the clock, and then also on a show that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and sometimes running the show, depending when it is, and then you're like cleaning a toilet and like trying to remember your set, and then you go on stage and you're like, and it is awkward too, because like sometimes you check people in the door, or like lock their phone in a bag. And then all of a sudden you're on stage. So it is.
And then they see you plunging a toilet, and then you're telling a joke, and they're
Yeah,
like, this guy
yeah.
is funny.
Yeah, well, a lot of times it feels like, and it is this way to some degree, where you're on stage and they're like, this guy, like, checked me in, like, I don't respect him. Like you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying.
They're like, I paid money to come to this club. I thought I was gonna see like Tony Hinchcliffe or some guy like that is like famous to them or something.
Who's that? Is he funny?
He's a guy. He was on the Tom Brady roast, and he has a show called Kill Tony. It goes to Netflix or whatever. So like a lot of people, especially in Austin, are fans of him. So like, and then he'll pop in there sometimes. And so people, when they go to the club, like they're like, I thought I was going to see someone that was like famous or I'm a fan of. And they're like, no, it's just the dirtbag that was at the front door that put my phone in a fucking bag.
They have it with that no phone rule at the comedy club?
Yeah.
What's the club called you worked at?
Vulcan.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, then they have yonder bags or whatever. It's like, I guess, something Dave Chappelle started. He was like, everybody should have their phone locked up, especially, in case Michael Richards pops in. One of my favorite comics.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, he's my top 3. It's like Richards, Cosby, and then probably...
Yeah, the hypocrisy was the worst part.
Yeah. Whose joke was
Norm.
that? Oh, yeah, that's Norm's. Like, I'm pretty sure it was the rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Now, my brother likes comedy. He listens to comedy podcasts. I don't get it. It's not my thing. But he always tells me this thing. And just being that you're in comedy, I want to ask you if this is true.
Okay.
And my brother doesn't mean this in a sexist way, but he says women aren't funny.
Well, it just, that's like a hack, like, thing, like, especially, like, there's, like, some women that are, like in the funniest, like, there's, like, someone, Jessica Kirson. Mm-hmm. She's, like, one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my life.
Really? I'll have to look her up.
Yeah, she's a New York comic, New York Jew, lady, lesbian. It's just, like, one of the funniest people.
Good combo.
Yeah, she's come to the Carlson, the club here.
Oh, okay.
And, people are, like, literally, like, crying, laughing.
Really?
Yeah.
Usually when once in a while I get recommended like reels or whatever of stand up, and like usually when it's women, I typically don't think they're very funny, but I usually think the same thing. It might be similar to like with female songwriters, like it's like the bar's a bit lower, so they don't have to be as funny.
Well,
but there are some that really stand out that are good.
The thing about the bar being lower is that is true in a sense for women comics now, only because for the first 90%, for the first like 50, 60, 70 years of stand-up existing, whatever the fuck it is, like they had zero opportunity.
Yeah.
So now the pendulum swung back in their favor like a tiny bit, and people are like, oh, this lady's just hot and she has a career. It's like, yeah.
Oh, what you're saying is that they're new to it. They need more practice, is what you're saying.
Well, no, I'm just saying some people will see like a female comic that has some success and then try to basically invalidate her because she's attractive.
Oh.
And like, there's some truth to that, especially just because with the short form content, you think about just scrolling through
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
TikTok or Instagram. If the person's attractive, basic psychology, you have more of a likelihood of staying on that video.
You don't think that applies to dudes?
No, it does, but less so, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And
would you say the comedy audience skews male?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I like probably like at bare minimum 60%, maybe 70% male.
But probably not as male as the skateboarding audience, or you say pretty similar?
I don't know, dude. The girl skaters now are so beast. And there's like, I don't know, it's like definitely...
I'm saying like the general person consuming that content.
Skate content?
Yeah, like if you were to look at like, take the top 100 YouTube skateboarding videos, and then you were to look at the demographics of
who that boy, Aaron
them.
Cairo, Braille?
Your dad does, right?
That's pretty good because he's not blind. Braille Skateboarding, the guy, he was the biggest skateboard YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it was run by a guy that was a Scientologist.
Okay.
And it just recently fell apart because he was giving like millions of dollars to Scientology, but he had all these employees that like he was just giving pennies to.
Oh, jeez.
And honestly, I agree with him because Scientology, in my opinion, is the one true religion. But I was trying to get him to like bring me in because like you have to be rich to be a Scientologist, kind of. And he reacted to there's a podcast clip that I posted and it's me talking about skateboarding. Mm-hmm. And Aaron Cairo.
I think I've seen that.
Oh yeah. I'm like basically I'm on my roommate's pod, and she's like, oh, 32 and still skateboards, something like she had like written down bad things because it's like a good bad podcast.
Okay, yeah.
So like one of the quote unquote bad things was that I'm old and still skateboard. So I like just basically defended that for a minute, and then we posted that clip. And Aaron Cairo, the Scientologist skateboarding king, like did a reaction video to it.
Okay.
So I was hoping that I could like somehow gain entrance to the religion without being rich.
What if we did a reaction right now to the reaction video, and then we can clip that out and see maybe he'll react to it?
We can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should I try to pull it up?
No.
That was your idea. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I don't know. How are you faith-wise these days? Because I'm thinking Xenu might be my boy.
Who's Xenu? What's Xenu?
The Scientologist god, alien god. He's an alien and he's God.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're familiar.
Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard figured it all out. He's a science fiction author that just happened to also be a prophet.
Oh. Turns out there is some money in writing books. Get it? Prophet?
No.
Okay. Thanks.
It's actually pretty beast.
Wow. You're hilarious because it's like you can never tell when you're serious or not.
What, like you think I might be serious about the Scientology thing? Because that's probably the only time I've been serious this whole time.
Exactly, dude. Like,
dude, there's this Church of Scientology, not in Rochester, but there's one in Buffalo, which I've been to. There's one in Austin where I go out, I'll like walk by and kind of talk to the lady, and I'm like, dude, like, I am interested because they're outside barking. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
No.
Barking is a term where it's like just basically you're flyering. It's like a comedy term. You pass out flyers, try to get people in the show.
Okay.
They do that outside the Church of Scientology. They're passing out flyers like, hey, free Thetan level reading. And some lady handed me the flyer, and I'm like, I am interested. But from what I've heard, financially, I don't know if I'm a good fit. You know what I mean?
So you have to be rich to be in Scientology.
That's what it seems like. I mean, you know, Leah Remini, remember her?
No.
King of Queens actress?
No.
Kevin James? This guy knows nothing about pop culture.
I know Kevin James because he's got tits.
Yeah, and he was a meme because he's. That's not bad. If you clip that, you could put the picture of them next to each other. Yeah. Like, damn, that boy Kev got a rack on him.
So he was what, his wife in that show or something?
Yeah, his wife in that show was. She was a Scientologist for most of her life, including. I don't know if she was born into it, but including when she was on the show.
Isn't like Tom Cruise Scientologist?
Tom Cruise is, yeah, and he's one of my favorite actors.
Wow.
I'm trying to follow in his footsteps.
Okay. Wow.
But yeah, it is weird though, because the leader, David Miscavige, his wife is missing.
Dude, you could be making all this up, and I have no clue. Like, I didn't research Scientology before this podcast.
Confirm in the chat.
Rad Skateboards is in the chat.
My dog, Rad. Confirm Miscavige's wife is missing. The problem is she's missing. But there's no proof that he had something to do with it, even though people think he clearly did. But it is interesting, like if they were to like remove him as head of Scientology, that's where we could come in.
I have no interest in Scientology, Kevin.
All right, we can change the subject.
Yeah. A little while ago, they say Whitney Cummings. You know her?
Yeah, she dates Chris Cole, the professional skateboarder.
Oh. Yeah, she was on a podcast I listened to, and I knew nothing of her comedy, but she was pretty good on the podcast. She was really, really open about the mistakes she made when she was younger and how she viewed the world and how her mind has changed, and now she wants to have kids. And it was it was pretty good. It was pretty wholesome. Like someone really admitting that everything they thought was wrong and they've changed their mind about their whole worldview, which you don't hear often.
Yes.
So I went to my brother and a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, do you know this Whitney Cummings lady? And they were both like, she's terrible. She's not funny. And I was like, well, I didn't even know she was really a comedian. I just happened to listen to a podcast she was on.
Yeah, and you were interested because of her, like, basically, like, owning up to, like, she was like, I don't like how I was living my life or something.
Well, it's funny because I think my brother might have said something along the lines of, like, what you were saying. Like, she's just, like, got a bunch of plastic surgery and looks good and isn't funny or whatever.
Yeah,
but
sure.
like in the podcast, she was saying that like she kind of like regretted being that shallow about everything, and how she was pursuing like men for fun, not like trying to find, not dating men as like a tryout for who would be a good husband and father, and again, like really, again, I don't know. I've never listened to her comedy or anything she said. I know nothing about her.
Well, that's something when you get to a certain age, that's something you're kind of forced to reckon with at some point.
Biological clock is ticking.
Yeah, well, that too, and it's just like, yeah, you're like, okay, if I want to have kids, it needs to be soon. That's something like you're forced to kind of reckon with. But I like her in the sense that, first of all, she was like kind of she was like relentlessly a hard worker.
Okay.
In comedy, so like her rise was just through like pure like relentlessness, like from what I've heard and seen.
I think I remember she was saying she was like writing on more than one show and on her own show, and
yeah. So I respect her obviously, but also like what's interesting about her is she did have something of a Amy Schumer like reputation, nothing to that extent where it's like everybody like hated her.
Yeah.
And thought she wasn't funny. But like recently, like I've seen like public opinion sway in the other direction for Whitney Cummings, where it's like even like people that like where it's like fans of the show Kill Tony, where she's on that, and like even those fans are like, holy shit, like she's actually like really funny now, which is interesting because speaking of people admitting they're wrong.
I did know what Kill Tony was. I've seen a little bit of it.
Oh, okay.
I saw it when the Trump Biden impersonations are on it, and recently. Was it Dunnigan was doing the RFK?
Yeah, super funny.
Yeah, I saw that. Were you on it?
Yeah, I did it
watched
once.
that clip, yeah.
Yeah, I did
I watched all your stuff. Big fan.
Yeah, well, when I did it, thanks. Yeah, when I did it, it was at the place that I work now.
Oh, okay.
It was at the, not Rogan's, but...
They're like, get the door guy up here.
Yeah, well, I didn't work there yet.
Oh, okay. You're still trying to get your foot in the door?
That's right. Just trying to get my balls in the door.
So is it working? Like, are you satisfied with your trajectory in the comedy space?
You know what's interesting is like, I am satisfied in the sense that like I do see a clear path to something that could turn into like a legitimate career. Like it's visible. Like it's not just like, oh, how is this? It's not like I'm like flailing and like I'm like there's no path forward, which is like. How it felt here, I'm like, it just seems impossible. But there, I'm like, okay, it is possible, and there is a clear path. But it's weird because I don't feel like I've gotten that much better at comedy. But like that, like I am like, I do feel like I'm working towards something that I'm like little by little, like making some progress here and there.
But stand-up is interesting. I think most people, and maybe I'm wrong about this. But I think most people don't really realize that it's like a bit you're working on. Like it's more like a band playing a set of all the same songs, and less like a spontaneous. I'm just telling you. It's supposed to feel like you're just talking, right? Yeah. And then like I remember like when I'd see like the ex-comedian on a late night show telling like a bit, like, oh, I already heard that. Like what? Like I thought they just say it once and then they're done. You know?
Yeah. Which is people that have thought that it makes sense. But then, like, once you realize that's not the case, in retrospect, you're like, why would I ever think that?
Totally. Are there? I know, like Rogan talked about like doing his own club or small clubs, or comedians like trying to test all their stuff out in like quieter spaces, so it doesn't get out or whatever. And then when they do their special, but obviously these are like the top 1%,
Yeah, like Louis C.K. He had like a whole hour that someone recorded in Long Island at some little club.
Oh, really?
And then they posted online, and like. Not only did he lose all that material, but it actually was like only a couple years after he got in trouble for the jerking off thing. So like it was fresh on people's minds. So when that happened, he had a joke about the Parkland shooting. So then he was in the news again, like because of that. So like it's like shit like that happens, and it's like actually like big in the news. And
is that part of the reason why they don't do the phones in the club you work at?
Yeah.
To allow the artist to
Yeah. And it's like, it's not just that we're scared of people recording. It's just like removes a distraction, because some shows recently I've done, even at that club, where we're just like, let's not lock up phones because we're like, did we even sell enough tickets to give a fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we won't. And then you'll be on stage and you'll just see someone texting and you're like, okay. Like the distractions there, like how you just looked at your phone right now, because apparently I'm not interesting enough for you. It's kind of similar to like when you're on stage. Someone, I don't know if you were doing a bit. Were you?
No.
No, you're not that smart.
I don't know. Maybe I'm playing 4D chess.
Probably. This guy's like 9 moves ahead of me. No, it just removes the distraction, and regardless of being scared of people recording, it's nice to not have people checking their phones. But some people are like, I have a babysitter, and it's like, well, set the phone in your lap, and even though it's in a bag, it'll vibrate. And then you can come outside and we'll unlock it.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
Cool. I had one more question, but it actually was about a compare and contrasting the fear in skateboarding and the fear in stand-up. I think we kind of touched on that a little bit.
So, dude, I mean...
We talk about the pain, not exactly the fear.
Yeah. So when I started doing stand-up, I like was 26, and I was like, in the back of my mind, wanted to do it like way earlier than that. Like probably even in high school, like subconsciously, I was like, I need to end up doing that someday. But it's just the level. It's the scariest thing ever to me, at least. I was like, I don't think
Public speaking is terrifying.
Yeah, it's like it was like a hump that I didn't think I could get over, and finally, I kind of made the decision like, okay, well, now I'm 26, and secretly I've wanted to do this my whole life, and now I'm going to admit that to myself and figure out, like, how do I start doing this? So my plan was basically, okay, I'm going to write the 5 minutes of material that it takes to do an open mic, and then I'll just memorize it like it's like the back of my hand. So then I'll just have the words so ingrained in my head that when I do have the balls to do it, then I'll just be ready. And like if at any given moment I'm like, maybe tonight, like I'll be ready.
Mm-hmm.
So then I did that, and then immediately I was like, okay, well now I have it in my head, so then I'll just do it tonight. And then I was like, oh shit, I could have done that like 30 years ago when I was -4. And then so
you are funny.
But then even then I was like, dude, I'm shaking, like it's like I'm not, it's like 12 hours from now, but I'm like shaking, and so I just was like getting hammered, like I got like obliterated.
Oh,
like I was like drinking wine before I drove to Buffalo to do this open mic, and then I'm outside of the bar just like taking swigs off a bottle of tequila like on the side of the road. So then I'm like hammered drunk, still shaking, go on stage, bad jokes, but like the host was super nice. And like, dude, nothing in skateboarding compared to that fear, I don't think. Like even like handrail, like doing like the like a 10-stair handrail, like like in the street. That's not scary because you gained the balls to try that like so incrementally. That like there was never any part of it that was that scary. Like I was never like, very rarely am I ever like trying something where the risk is that high, because most of your falls come from when you let your guard down on something that's not that hard. So like any handrail I've ever tried, or any like dangerous like big stair set or big gap or something where you get hurt, like I worked up to be able to try that so it's not scary incrementally. But there's no way to do that. Actually, there is a way to do that stand-up that I wish someone would have told me, which is like later when I hosted open mics, I would tell people that were thinking about trying it, like, bro, just write 1 minute and just get on stage and dip your toes in and tell like a couple jokes for a minute, and then I'll come back up and let you off.
What about
that's how
talking and like not trying to be funny? Like I'm gonna do an open mic and I'm just gonna tell a 4-minute story. That's not a joke. I'm just gonna tell you this story.
Yeah, you could do that.
Right, and just get yourself a little, like just used to being in front of the crowd.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, that's a good idea. I never actually even thought of that, but yeah, I mean, because usually you just want to, when you're doing a comedy open mic, you want to tell jokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, I have to do 5 minutes because that's what they give you. So yeah, in retrospect, I would have like dipped my toes in, like I suggested to people too. But yeah, definitely stand up is scarier. Stand-up's scarier, but skateboarding hurts more.
I'm gonna do open mic nights at the skate park.
Oh yeah, I saw you posted that.
I think I'm gonna do just one a month in the summer months. You know, whether it be first Friday or something that sounds marketable. I might do a set. I might do a little stand-up.
Yeah, you should.
I might play a song too. I don't know. I play a lot of music at home, and I'm super, super, super self-conscious about playing in front of people. But I feel like it'd be a very interesting experiment on myself to try.
Yeah,
to be
I
funny.
think you would feel like some gratification, especially because like you overcome that, you would feel good.
Yeah. I feel like I would just tell people about my life, and that's just inherently funny, you know.
Yeah.
Like, why are really tragic things hilarious? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is weird.
Like you tell like something just horrifically horrible happened to someone, and then something equally as bad happened again, and then like his dog died, and as I'm telling you this, you're starting to smile, and like it is weird how there's this like human response to just laugh at like the most like tragic stuff.
Well, I think it's out of necessity, right? Like, you
Yeah,
know,
maybe.
at the Gulag Archipelago, they were laughing up a
here we
storm.
go.
At the Gulag, they were cackling, buddy. You know what's funny, actually? Like, you know, no, people in the worst situations need comedy the most. It's why rich people aren't funny and can't laugh.
Can't laugh.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, you see
Yeah, yeah,
Elon
it's
laugh, he can't, he's like, oh, like, he doesn't actually laugh. He's like, oh. Like, it's not a real laugh, it's
He
fake.
thinks 420 is funny.
Huh?
He thinks 420 is funny.
Why, because it's Hitler's birthday?
No, 'cause it's just a funny number, dude.
He's like, that shit's hilarious. My hero was born on that day.
Oh, here we go.
My heart goes out to you. You hear it?
My God.
But we should talk about Tesla stock.
Yeah, why is that?
It's plummeting because of apparently his
Well, Tesla stock is down a pretty sizable amount in the last like 2 or 3 months. From when I bought it, it's still up like 40%. So like it's still riding a pretty high wave, and it's still maybe it's just like a correction, but I actually just bought more.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you should buy the dip. I mean, it's not going to go down any further when he does a third salute.
It's just going up from here, baby. Jesus Christ.
That's funny, man. Dude, it is crazy there. It is wild there. Like, people are like vandalizing all the dealerships and shit.
It's pretty extra.
You think so?
Just don't buy, if you don't like his stuff, don't buy his stuff. I don't know, like,
Well, I don't have an opinion. But from their point of view, he's a billionaire that's illegally taking over the government. So it's just like, if you're someone that already was interested in burning down a dealership, now you have a fun reason to do that.
well, that's a pretty good justification right there. It's like you already wanted to mess some shit up, and now you're like, oh, here's some shit to mess up.
Yeah.
Like, I think that really personifies a lot of what happened in all the COVID era.
Oh,
rioting,
yeah,
where it's
totally.
just like,
Well, you could see it in the look in their eyes. It's just like, you don't care about
anything.
Daniel Prude. You didn't even watch the video.
He wasn't even from Rochester.
Oh, well, I definitely, if he's not a Rochester native, then pull it up.
So, well, it's funny. People are like, they wanted to make these people. They shut down the Wegmans. Were you here? Were you living here when they did this?
That was cool.
2020?
Like when they shut down Wegmans, like these protesters went to East Avenue Wegmans and blocked off the door so no one could get in and out. And what they were protesting is they wanted Rochester to recognize like a holiday for Daniel Prude. And it was like this whole thing where like these people couldn't leave Wegmans for like an hour or hour and a half or something, a couple hours. Yeah. I remember I was riding my bike that day, and I went down East Avenue, and I was like, why are there cops everywhere? I'll just go the other
Yeah, I
direction.
vaguely remember that now that you mention it. I think it's kind of like, well, when people like that, when people that are protesting, like, they want change, but they don't know how to go about it. So that's kind of like a flailing. It's just like, at least we got noticed for
All
our
that
cause.
shit, like the blocking the traffic and Wegmans.
The blocking
it's
the
like-
traffic's crazy.
It's like, are you trying to like convince people? Are you trying to recruit people to your cause? Because making them late for work, it's not a strong argument to get on board, right?
Yeah, that is funny
If
though.
anything, you want to be out there and be like, hey, we got free donuts, we got coffee here. Hey, we're out here because of this. You should you want to sign this petition? Oh, yeah, you gave me a free donut. You're not like you're making me late to work, or like, I got to pick up my kid from school, or whatever. Like I'm just trying to. I came into Wegmans to pick up a 6-pack, and now I'm stuck here for 2 hours.
It is counterproductive probably most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, a guy's not going to show up to work and his boss is like, why are you 20 minutes late? He's not going to be like, I honestly, I didn't think about it before, but I think women should have the right to choose. It's their body. Like, he's probably be like the other way around. If he's late to work, he's like, we need to make this shit illegal. Like, it's a life. It's murder.
Have you listened to any of my podcasts?
Yeah, I saw Parlette. In this bitch. I saw my boy Presuiters.
In the middle of the podcast, we always talk about, I have 2 topics, right? And they're usually cultural, topical. And you're allowed to pick the first one, or you could pass to the second one.
Okay.
But the second one was actually going to be the Tesla dealership vandalization.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the first one.
I want to go deeper into the Tesla.
But this will actually kind of dovetail a bit with where we're at right now in this conversation.
What if I brought up both of them somehow? This guy would be fucked.
Probably would.
Maybe. So you and I, at one point in time, we were both Bernie bros.
Yes.
Are we still bros? Where are you at now?
Regardless of, like, let's put policy aside 100%. Right?
Talking about politics. Let's put policy aside. Okay.
Right. No, it's going to make sense, though.
Okay.
So, okay. Let's not even think about policy.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you see him, what he's doing right now, he's 83 and he's on like a tour, Stop Oligarchy tour. And he's like filling up these venues with like 800 people left outside. And he's like talking to the people, he's asking questions like, what are your biggest concerns? Like, just trying to do everything in his power to remedy a situation in which he feels is billionaires taking over the government, which they already had control over, but in a more obvious way. I just think it's pretty obvious, like, when you look at what he's doing and what he has to gain from it, like, he's very, very clearly genuine in his pursuit in a way that no other politician is whatsoever. And it's just like, if it's bewildering to me that anyone could be paying attention and think any different.
That's interesting. I don't entirely disagree with you, but I used to think he was very genuine, and then started to think he was more like other politicians. But you made a fairly compelling argument right there.
Yeah, well, people...
What else is he going to do?
Well, people's argument against him will be like, oh, like, for example, this really actually kind of annoyed me, because did you see his, the RFK thing where his confirmation hearing?
Yeah.
Bernie and him were, like, going back and forth, and, like, Bernie was just, like, mopping the floor with him. But there was one moment that really circulated more than anything else on social media. Like, it's almost like Mark Zuckerberg, who runs the websites, has, like, a preference. It almost feels like that sometimes, maybe. But who knows? But there's the clip that circulates the most is when RFK is actually questioning Bernie on him getting money from the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people in the comments are like, wow, Bernie's full of shit. He took money from pharmaceutical industry, basically implying that now, because of that, he is beholden to Big Pharma for accepting that money. And Bernie's like, no, it was only $2.5 million, and it was from individual donors, meaning that he had an accumulative $2.5 million from all individual people that worked for the pharmaceutical industry, meaning that these are just like every amount of money came from one single person, and it just so happened that they worked for this industry. So cumulatively, it's $2.5 million. So, like, in what way would anyone ever, like, and you look at the comments and all these people are like, he's full of shit, like, he's a pharma guy. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, and how do you believe that? Like, it's just beyond me how you're fooled by this. I don't even get it.
Can you steel man the RFK side of that?
Yeah, well, RFK, it's tough, too, because, like, when you understand that all the money came from just people, just single people. When you know that, it's just like I can't even begin to argue on behalf of RFK. Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
No, I don't mean about that. I mean about the line of questioning in general.
Oh. Well, it's interesting too because Bernie's worth like a few $1 million and he has 2 houses. But it's like, dude,
he frankly should be worth more. But yeah.
Yeah. You dedicate your entire life to like the to service and like being a politician. It's like you're just like constantly working. Like any job you should at that age when you're working into your 80s, like as hard as he is, any job you should have at least a few million to retire.
Yeah, I think you and I would both agree. If we went back to 2016, probably would have been better if the DNC didn't screw over Bernie and he was in there instead of Hillary, and he probably would have beat Trump.
Yeah, I mean, if it was the only thing, his biggest downfall was obviously not being hard enough on Hillary, but then also like,
well, he didn't stand a chance. That DNC wasn't going to have him.
Yeah, but the only thing he could have done was like kind of bend to their will before the Iowa caucus. He could have like pretended that he was going to bend.
But you just painted him as one of the only genuine politicians. Now you're saying he should have bent the knee.
No, I'm saying he did bend the knee after he lost in the primary. Because he was like, I want Trump to lose.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm going to.
How'd that work?
Honestly, I don't remember. Who's president?
It is crazy to think, like, in one sense, 2016 seemed like it was like yesterday, but also it seemed like it was a really, really long time ago.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. He got elected and then you opened. Like the next month after the election.
And my first 4 years were pretty good.
Business is booming.
Good too.
I mean, literally, like, the first 4 years of my business were good, and then the second 4 were bad. But also,
third 4 is going to be good then, just by math.
This is an argument I hate from both sides of the political spectrum. They'll do this thing where they'll pretend COVID didn't exist, or will pretend COVID was the reason for everything, whether it benefits or doesn't benefit them. So, like Biden will be like, I inherited the worst economy we've ever had. That's what Trump gave me. And it's like, well, no, that's what COVID gave you, you know? Or but then Biden will be like, I created all these jobs. And it's like, well, no, COVID reopened and people went back to work, you know? And both sides will pick and choose how they either ignore it or use it as a justification.
Well, yeah, it's tough to...
in the chat.
Oh,
Parlett
shit.
said Kevin Willard for president.
Hell yeah. That boy 4 down.
To take down the oligarchy.
My boy 4 down's already in the cabinet. You hear it? But it is crazy. I don't even really like to talk about it that much because, you know, like for example, like people are like, oh, the price of gas is going down, or like the price of eggs is going up or down, and it's just like they try to attribute it to one president or the other. But no one ever says, like, it was this policy and this policy because of this and that.
Whoa. Policy aside.
Yeah, let's just do politics by vibes.
Well, first of all, eggs are cheap. Eggs are ridiculously cheap.
They're already cheap.
They're so freaking cheap.
Yeah.
Also, when gas changes, like, 20 cents a gallon, people freak out. But, like, it's 20 cents a gallon, and then you're getting 10 gallons. It's a fucking $2 difference, dude.
Yeah.
Like...
It's not the end of the world one way or the other.
Blah, blah, but, like...
Dude, honestly... Like, it's how much we pay to fill our tank. Is it really that important when there's a genocide going on in Gaza?
Oh, here we go. We're not even going there.
Well, you brought it up.
No, I didn't. You literally just brought it up.
Dude, no, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, here we go. Policy aside.
Dude, I was watching the news one time, and you know that like it was like this.
You got to work on your delivery here, dude.
It was just this Palestinian American speaking about like his family.
Okay.
And he was like, "Yeah, it's my family's in this apartment building. It just like blew up, and like they were like 6 of them were all in it." And then he's like talking about it firsthand experience, like he's in America, stuck in America, like he can't do anything about it, and it's just like. And then he was like being interviewed by like News 8 or some horseshit news station that doesn't matter. But then like he's just on camera and they're asking him questions like that, and then he starts to go into detail, and then he kind of just starts crying, and it was like actually really like you actually like if you listen to these people talk about it, like really kind of hits you like in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's what we should probably try to do something about this. Me and you.
Pass.
Okay. Back to the dealerships.
No, we're going to move into the second half of the podcast. As per Nick Parlette's suggestion, we're going to talk about skating.
Let's go.
Also,
Nollie heel back lip. Nollie big spin back
someone
lip.
in the chat said, I'm taking a dump right now. If Kev says something funny enough, I'll dedicate this turd to him.
Who said that?
And then later they said, Kev, you earned it. This one's for you.
Let's go. Send me a pic.
It's pretty good.
Send me a pic of that log, buddy.
We've been live for an hour and 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right, second part of the podcast. Let's get serious here, Kevin.
Yeah. You're going to ask me the best skater ever in Rochester? It's obviously Nick Parlett by a lot.
Okay. I want to talk about the BFS beginnings, as I alluded in the beginning of the show.
Let's go.
I didn't allude. I directly said you were a big part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I would even go as far as saying you are my right-hand man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But before we dive into the skate park stuff, I want to talk a tiny bit about mental health.
Oh, nice.
Nietzsche said, to live is to suffer, to survive is to find meaning in the suffering. I personally was psychologically a complete train wreck when we were building the skate park, and probably for like 2 years after that. I think you directly and indirectly had expressed similar sentiments at times. Obviously, skateboarding is something that helps with those things. But I want to talk about the sense of purpose and the meaning that's derived from being embedded in, or more importantly, fostering a community. Skate parks can be a home for a lot of people. So,
What was the question?
I wanted to say thank you for being a friend
Yeah, of course, dude.
and being an indispensable piece of the BFS story. And I wanted to know, how's your mental health these days?
Well, yeah, thanks, buddy. It was a huge part of my life and still is. But my mental health, I don't know. That's a complicated question. It's overall good. Speaking of when the park was opening, obviously drinking was an issue for you and me.
And Aaron.
And Aaron. Holy shit, what happened to him?
He's in Montana.
Jenny Foam Pit.
Yeah, but, well, my mental health is very directly correlated to, like, my chronic pain condition that I've told you about, that it was, like, flaring up horribly at the time the park was opening. Like, I have chest pain every day for the past 13 years. And basically, the resistance to the pain is what allowed it to extend itself over a decade. And it's not until incredibly recently that I finally started learning how to use mindfulness to observe the resistance to the pain, and then finally, like, just start making small steps to allow that grip to loosen itself. But yeah, I'm like starting to see my future without really that dominating my whole life, because since I was 18, basically, like, physical pain's dominated every part of my life, and I've used alcohol to escape from it. And, you know, like, no matter what you use alcohol for, except, like, if it's just recreationally and for fun, if you're using it to mask something, like, mental health-wise, the problem is building in the background. Like, it's, like, obviously using a Band-Aid for an infection. You put that Band-Aid on, the infection's getting worse and worse. All you're doing is covering it up and making the, like, eventually you're going to have to reckon with that problem.
If anything, you're holding it in. You're creating an environment for that bacteria to even grow.
Exactly. So that's what I was doing for like a million years. And then finally I realized that, and then just like got more into mindfulness and like...
So are you just being more accepting of the pain rather than trying to fight the pain?
Yes, because it's a weird paradox in that once you're in the situation, like with chronic pain, and you just resisting it so hard, and it's feeding off that resistance. So the only way to truly get rid of it is if you don't care if it stays or goes. But if your motivation for not caring is to get rid of it, then that is backwards. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want to get rid of it, therefore I don't care if it's here or not. But so basically you have to like transcend your initial reason for getting into mindfulness, and just you have to move beyond that and just kind of actually observe the present moment without judgment, as simple as that is. But really, like, that's That's like without that strategy, I'd just be at the point where like, you know, when I was like 18, 19, in my early 20s, into my mid 20s, and then up until recently, I'm like, like when I was like a few years in of chronic pain every day, and then like panic attacks and going to the emergency room like here and there, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm having a heart attack, even though like after a while, I'm like, clearly I'm not, because I've been to a doctor a million times and they all told me nothing's wrong with my heart. Like, there was a point where I was like, dude, like, this is so bad. If I can't figure out a way to get rid of this, then I'm going to make a decision to end things. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, not even in a necessarily dramatic way. It's just like, this isn't a life worth living type shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's not until recently where I've started to at least like make movements in a positive direction and potentially like like mosey my way on into like a potential decent livable life beyond the pain.
That's good.
Yeah.
And did Scientology?
But I'm literally
here?
I have chest pain right now. It's like it's a 24/7 thing for the most part. But yeah, if it wasn't for Xenu.
Yeah.
And L. Ron Hubbard.
That's interesting because you know tinnitus or tinnitus. You know that?
Yeah, I bet tinnitus too. Dude,
I don't like. I have that. I don't notice it. My buddy Phil like randomly got it, and it fucked his life up. He couldn't sleep. It like he got insomnia from it, and like he like saw a specialist, and they're like, oh, exactly what you said. Obviously, it's not as dramatic as chest pain, but it was like you just have to like, it's just there, and you just gotta like. Stop care. The more you care about it, the more it's going to bother you. The more you acknowledge it, the more you're going to bother you.
That's incredibly true, and it's like, yeah, and it's like, there is that that question comes up again. Like, if your motivation for not caring is caring so much, then that doesn't work. Like, you have to go beyond that and just genuinely not care. But it is mindfulness. Like, a lot of people say this, but I agree. Like, 100% of our suffering is derived from identification with thought. So really, if you're 100% experiencing consciousness like in the present moment as it is, then you can't suffer, because if you're in pain, really what you're doing is worrying about the future. Like, oh, I can't possibly bear to be in this pain for another moment. But if you're truly in the present moment, like you've already put up with pain for that moment. Like you're in it. So same thing with tinnitus, like practicing mindfulness, you're like in the moment with it. It can't hurt you because you've already done it in that moment. Each moment.
I have another quote for you here. We often suffer more from our fears than from the dangers of our situation.
Yeah. Like you're always worried about something that hasn't happened yet.
That's also Norm Macdonald.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, read that one again?
We often suffer more from our fears than from the dangers of our situation.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it sounds like somebody else said that, and then he repackaged it.
I was going through a bunch of his quotes preparing for this podcast, and like a lot of them are like hilarious, and then like every 10th one is just like a really great serious quote. Yeah.
Do you write any of his jokes down?
No.
Oh. He has a good one, the mental health joke. He's like, yeah, people always go like, he killed himself. Why would somebody kill himself? I don't get. Why would anybody ever kill themselves? I don't get it. He's like, I go, you don't? He's like, what, do you live in a cotton candy house?
You don't know about life?
You don't know about life? How it only disappoints.
It ends in a terrible tragedy.
Yeah, that's a great one.
There's one quote. It was I was like,
I just showed
he's like,
that the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 2 days ago.
That's so good, dude.
he had one. It was something like, women don't. Something about like women. It's like, women are important. We need women in the world. If we didn't have women, things would be a lot worse, and there would be less cookies.
So perfect.
That's
I like the Kermit one.
some good stuff there, Kev.
What?
All of that.
Yeah.
I got some seriousness out of you there.
Yeah. No, I'm always down to talk about that.
In front of you first.
Yeah, I'm a little aroused.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Is that what it is for you? Just getting the person in the room to cry gets you going?
Well, because it's just like a
It's the hypocrisy. That's the worst part, Kevin.
no, it's like a primal thing. It's just you can feel tears make good
Yeah.
lube. No, I love you, bud.
Yeah. Thanks.
But no, I'm always wanting to talk about my mental health because that's part of the reason why it gets so bad is when you hold it in. Like talking about it really is a release. Like that's why journaling is such a powerful tool that people
journaling's
don't realize.
amazing.
It's like the best thing you could do is because a lot of the pain we're going through we don't realize is just unrealized thoughts floating around subconsciously doing damage.
Yeah. When you were talking before, it reminded me of. Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to segue this smoothly. But in, do you know Modern Wisdom, Chris Williamson's podcast?
He's a BMXer.
No, he's actually in Austin. Well, he lives in Austin now. He's from the UK. He has,
Oh
he
no, I
has-
have seen him. Yeah.
He does good stuff. He has this concept.
He had Sam Harris on.
He's had everyone on. He has this concept called productivity purgatory, where, because you were saying about acknowledging, you have to acknowledge it to get there. And if you said you had to get into mindfulness to get over the pain, but then you have to forget why you got into mindfulness to let it happen.
Yes.
He's a similar concept about productivity where like you get people who are like your type A personalities and they're going to do these things that are better for like mental and physical health, but then they're only doing it in service of being more productive outside of the mental health. And it's like, well, you're not doing it for the right reason. It's probably not going to work. Like,
Wait, can you repeat the last part? I'm sorry.
so it would be like, oh, whatever it would be like Rhonda Patrick or Huberman or any of these podcasters are saying, oh, you need this much sleep. Or if you, after a meal, you walk 1 mile and you get whatever red light exposure at the end of the day, it does this. And like, so these things that show data that will make you healthier and happier, right? But then people will go and use those tools just to get back to being, it's like they'll take again, these are type A personalities, like workaholic types. And they'll take a break from their working to do things that are supposed to make them happier, but it's only in service of getting back to the productivity of the work. So it's this productivity purgatory rather than doing the thing to actually digress from the work and unwind.
Yeah, wow, that makes total sense. It's like people are like just like disingenuous with themselves about their
Well,
intentions.
that's the hardest person to be honest with is probably yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't even know you're lying to yourself.
Oh,
Didn't you
that
have a quote like that on the wall the other day?
Probably.
you had a quote on the wall.
I always put quotes on the whiteboard.
Oh, and you change. Okay,
I
cool.
always change it up.
Yeah.
For a while it said America's back.
Let's go. Make
I think
America
the
skate
quote was,
again.
If you lie to yourself, how could you be honest with anyone else?
That's a great quote, yeah. If you
Yeah.
lied to yourself, I could be honest with anyone else, yeah.
Be yourself. Everybody
Well, when
else
it
is
comes to,
taken.
like relationship advice, I've always said if you don't know how to make yourself happy, how could you possibly make someone else happy?
Yeah, exactly. Like when you're going through it, and you're kind of like just in like experiencing any sort of misery, it's like the last time you would ever want to start a relationship.
Do you still play Skate 3?
Dude, I actually haven't played it recently, but I played Session a little bit at my buddy's house, which is a hard game. It's actually a lot harder than Skate 3, but I just got an email from EA that I have early access to Skate 4.
Really?
So I don't even have a PS5, but I was like, I'm going to...
Paula just sent me this picture. It's a snake charmer pulling Kevin.
Bro, this is literally offensive, bro. Dude, that's mad racist. Because he knows I'm part Indian.
You're not part in.
I am quarter Indian.
Really?
Yeah.
Which
you didn't know
quarter?
that? Grandpa, mom's side.
Really?
Yeah, he's full Inge.
That's pretty cool.
Inge. Yeah, so. I thought you knew that.
Yeah, I was filming a video today, and I'm just trying to film a video every single day, and then you start thinking, I can make a video out of anything. And I did a video talking about the Easter eggs around the skate park.
Okay.
I have the secret tape, which is from Tony Hawk. The first 4 Tony Hawks or 5 Tony Hawks had the secret tape.
Yeah, first 4.
And the other day, I swear to God, I was driving down the road, and there was a pile of garbage at someone's house, and I was like, No way. Hit it in reverse, went backwards. It was like one of those mounted deer heads on a wall.
Oh, really?
The antlers were ripped off it, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, I made like a reel for it. I'm like, here's my new Easter egg. And I pull this deer head out of my car, and
So is it set up somewhere?
yeah, I took a rental helmet, and I cut it out so it fit around the deer's ears. So there's a deer head somewhere in the skate park with a pink rental helmet on. And at first I was trying to stick it like inside a ramp, so you could like barely see it. And if you got the right angle, you'd be like, what the hell? But it's like it's in a more obvious place right now. It's just a deer head.
That's awesome.
Pretty funny.
Okay, so I could go out there and see it, but you have certain shit that's actually kind of hidden.
Yeah, like Hunter Biden's laptop.
Bro, I'm trying to find that, dude.
I did a video and I'm like, oh, like this laptop up here. It's like it says property of Hunter Biden on here. Then it says in parentheses, please don't share with FBI.
Dude, it's funny that that's such a scandal. Like the shit that people choose to fixate on. It's like Trump has it right. Like you just like if people start fixating on the laptop, you come out with another laptop, and then they start thinking about that. You come out with another one. They can't eventually they don't know what to focus on. But when it's just a laptop, and then they're like, all right, we gotta start keeping it low key, then it's like, no, we're just going to focus on the laptop relentlessly now. It's like, no, you got to keep doing fucked up shit so they don't know what to talk about.
Well, the laptop thing was funny because it was like they sat on it for a bit and tried to drop it strategically at the best possible time to drop it. And then literally both sides of the table will do the same thing with whatever damning information they have. But then when the other side does it, they're like, you were just... It's like, I don't care for the dog and pony show.
Bro, it's so awesome.
Can you,
can
you nollie inward?
Who asked me that?
TJ?
TJ?
Yeah.
TJ Wolfley?
I don't know. There's just TJ in the chat.
Yeah, but I hate my nollie inwards. I stopped doing them just because I don't like how they look. But no, I did that trick. I made a trick tip to do nollie inward in like 2010 or something. It's probably still on YouTube, and it's ugly as shit. My flick is just like, dude, people would always say, oh, is that a nollie pressure flip? Which they don't understand skateboarding and foot placement to think that. But really, when they ask that question, they're just saying that it looks like shit, which is true. But the front foot placement is on the opposite side of the board if I were doing a pressure flip. So it's just like a lot of people just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They want to insult you, and they try to do it in this like back way, but they just end up like not just looking dumb. But yeah, nollie inward is actually a hard trick. Easy for some. Who asked about Skate 3? Because I got early access.
That was also TJ.
Oh, my dog. Yeah, I got early access to the new game that's coming out, but I need to buy a PlayStation.
The poop question came from HXCCHI. Hardcore Chi. I don't know who that is.
Bro, we got some real dirt bags in here.
Kevin, there might be a treat.
Dude,
in your DMs.
if you really sent me a picture of your shit, I'm literally going to start jerking off on the pod.
Dude. Oh, Jesus. This is like such a departure from last week's episode, like super wholesome fucking BMX mountain bike dad.
Bro, we just fucking cried.
Yeah. Is there any I was gonna say ladies in life, but is there any significant other in your life?
No, I'm talking to one lady right now.
A normal lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know, it's super, super early, like just,
Before you left here, you were with that other lady that had a kid.
Yeah,
Was that cool?
No, that was great. Yeah, that was the best relationship I've ever had.
Yeah.
For sure, and the longest. And yeah, the kid was amazing. And I still I still kind of even look up to her in a way because she runs a successful business here in Rochester. It's called Easy Tiger Electric. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of like
she's an electrician?
Yeah. No, the name it's just kind of a badass name, you know. But it's like a tattoo shop, and she does microblading, and it's just like she's like kind of like in this like partnership that she runs it with another woman, and I don't know. She just as far as like business owner, she's pretty incredible.
Do you ever do macro blading?
What's funny is her and I made a video one time when we were together, and it was I got her as a gift like Tech Deck rollerblades for your fingers, the microblades. And we made a microblading video with it. It's kind of sick.
Was it her house? Were you 50-50 through the whole house?
Yeah, I
from the front door to
grinded.
the back
Yeah, I
door?
ollied into the house, onto the rail, grinded through the house, and then out the back.
That was
yeah.
so sick.
Thanks. It was feeble.
Whatever.
Same shit. Different truck.
I skateboarded this week.
Oh yeah, I saw you on your story setting up to drop in. You eat shit or what?
What? you just saw me about to drop in. You just skipped. You didn't watch the clip.
Well, yeah.
I don't remember
what
I did a
happened.
nollie shove disaster fakie. Nollie shove.
Oh, that's
rock
actually
fakie.
on the mini.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you know, but last night I was skating a vert ramp, so.
Oh, I did see that.
Dude, it's so
Yeah,
scary.
Berardi's ramp.
Yeah, Berard's.
Yeah,
Dude, he's
Zippy built
beast.
that.
Yeah, Zippy pulled up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Someone mentioned that he built it. I was like, oh shit, I thought Berard's built it because he's seems like a handy guy that would just fucking build it. But it's so well built that it makes sense Zippy had to pull up.
Yeah.
The big dog. Speaking of people without them, this place wouldn't be. I mean, you would have hacked it together eventually.
Well, Zippy really didn't get involved into the bowl.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it was mostly me.
Because I paid Zippy. Like, you have to pay Zippy.
Yeah, of course.
And like, we were in discussions, and I was like, listen, like, when the time is there, like, I'm going to bring you in, and like, we're going to move the bowl in. And I still work like this with Zippy. When I bring him in to help me with projects, I do all the grunt work. I tear everything out. I prep everything, and I bring him in. I'm like, all right, cool. Bring me your expertise, and I will assist you through everything you need to do.
You
like,
made the most out of it because you're like, okay, first of all, you're lucky to have him, and you knew that.
Fortunately, yeah, 100%.
And then you were like, okay, this is costing me money, so how do I work with him to get the most out of the money that I'm spending on
it
his
allowed
service?
me to split. Basically, once we got the bowl here and everything like almost in place, I said, Zippy, there's your project. Put it back together. Make it work.
Yeah.
And then we could just do whatever else we were doing. So then that was like the first time the project really split off into two separate crews, essentially. And then
Right.
Evan McCool did a lot of the patchwork in the
It's
bowl.
not a real name.
It is his actual name.
That boy McCool.
Yeah, McCool. Yeah.
It's kind of badass, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zippy's beast. Like, what do you think you would be able to do on that vert ramp on your bike? You think could you do?
I'm a pussy, dude. I wouldn't do anything. I probably wouldn't drop in.
Well, I thought you would at least drop in. That was my
Probably not.
view. That was my
Harder than Aaron it.
yeah. That was my like going into it. I was like, okay, I've never dropped in a vert ramp. I might have dropped in on a smaller one when I was 14 at Woodward, but I didn't really have like a good memory of it. So the thing was like 14 feet tall, and like before I walked in there, I was like, all right, I want to at least drop in on it, and then if I'm feeling froggy, like attempt like an axle or something. Dude, when I walked up there and looked down it was like 2.5 feet straight down into the then 11 feet ramp. So I was kind of just like,
No, thank you.
first thought was just like, I'm gonna bitch out.
But you did it.
Because everyone's shredding, and then I'm like, well, I'm at least gonna get to a point where I put my deck on the coping and like. But then
Think
once you
about
get
it.
there, then you're obligated to try it, or else you're a bitch. Like, there's this one dude, Josh, there that did a double hand plant. They're just
What's a
shredding
double
it.
hand plant? To both hands?
Well, he put his hand down, and then he was going at such a harsh angle that he like lifted his hand back up, and his hand landed at another spot. Like his hand like skipped along the coping.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and Jesse Gunter was there. He ripped a giant
He's crazy.
1 foot Japan Air, which is a big Tony Hawk trick.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
played the game, but he did it really good. There's a photo of it that Casey got. Sick.
I saw that.
So, who's sick?
So yeah, I thought you were gonna ask me like, what do you think we'll do? Like another half hour or something?
Yeah, almost exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna take a piss real quick. Blaze, you wanna hop in?
Sure.
All right. This is pretty good. You told me you were going to piss like 10 times. Kevin, would you rather be stuck in the forest with a bear or a female? I don't understand. Is that a cultural like reference that I don't know?
Yeah, that's something where women on the internet were saying that if they're posed with the question, would you rather be walking a trail and find a bear or a man in the woods? They all pick the bear.
Well, they're retarded if they think that.
Overwhelmingly, every woman on the internet says, "I'll pick the bear because a man is so scary."
Yeah, well, a bear, there are a few things. I mean, the only thing that's really scary in the bear is probably a mountain lion. And by the time you see a mountain lion, you're already fucked.
Yeah, you're not in a good place either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of. I think the idea of. I think the vast majority of women being asked that or people in general being asked that question on the internet are so removed from the reality of a alpha predator in their life that they think that a man is
scary. They could smell the menstruation.
Bears can run like 30 miles an hour and are not small. So
no,
like, you're not in a good spot.
You know, I read all those books about like the early settlers in Rochester.
Yeah.
And like, dude, there was bear, there was wolves, there was mountain lion. Like, man, those were hardy people back then. Like,
yeah, it's just like, oh, well, I walked to Oneata.
Yeah.
To get my hat, and then I brought my family back,
Yeah.
or whatever it was. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool to watch it live. Actually, live.
BFS Live is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Oh.
There you go.
Oh, that's the wrong button. That's the horn jazz. That's the rim shot. Hold on. Applause. Hilarious.
Oh, that's good.
Dude, Kevin's taking a long piss in there, huh?
Yeah.
Imagine he left like that. Because he's a comedian. That's his joke. He's like, "Dude, I'm gonna wait till we're like an hour and a half in. And I'm gonna tell him I'm pissing, and I'm just gonna leave."
That'd be funny.
That would be really funny.
Kevin's funny. He's being a gentleman. I think he's washing his hands. Oh yeah, you can hear it now.
Yeah. It's cool. I got him to be serious there for a few minutes.
That was pretty cool. It took me a second. You were crying. I saw.
Yeah.
It. That's cool.
Yeah, I have trouble processing positive emotion.
I know, it's so funny. Like you said, you can talk about trauma and it's hilarious.
Yeah, even just
even just right now.
Up from just saying that.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's my own shit.
I mean, we did that in the first couple podcasts we did, where you said some pretty serious shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what was happening.
The same poop guy in the chat said he's not pissing. He's cranking a mean poop. He's cranking it to my poop pic. Did you check your DMs? Like,
crazy if true.
Bro, I opened the DM, but I didn't look at the photo yet. Should I pull it
yeah,
up?
let's see it. I want to see this guy's poop. Dude, this is such a radical departure from our normal episode.
Oh my god, this fucking dirtbag, bro.
Get out!
Bro,
Where is it?
first of all, bro, that's like, it was splattered across the whole bowl, but if you really collected all of it, like, that was like what, like less than an ounce? Like, this guy just had diarrhea and pooped out the smallest amount. Go seek help, bro. But at the same time, it moved.
Okay.
Bro, how about that though? There really are people that just like beat it to fucking.
All right, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's not talk about
Jesus,
the wonderful niche genre of scat.
All right, we're not talking about scat here.
You brought it up.
I didn't bring it up. The guy in the chat brought it up. I don't know who.
That boy Malachi
Malachi? Okay.
painting the bowl. Bro, I saw a good meme earlier. It was like my brush. It was a fork. It was like my what's it called? What's the second? What if you have a brush and then you have?
What are you talking about? Like painting?
Yeah. Oh, it was like my brush, and it was a fork, and then it was like my paint. It was Taco Bell, and then it was like my canvas was a toilet bowl.
Okay,
Yeah. It was a meme that I saw. Anyways, sorry,
funny.
I brought it up.
All right. Well, I got you to be serious there for a few minutes. That was pretty good.
Well, I mean, if you want me to be serious at any point, I will be. But I thought this was a comedy podcast.
No, it's Jesus Christ, dude. All right. We'll do like maybe one or two questions, and we'll do our rapid fire at the end, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, you didn't ask me anything like about skateboarding, really.
Yeah.
Well, you did ask me skateboarding versus comedy.
God knows what.
Well, you kept bringing up the war.
All right. So, the beginning of the skate park was actually like crazy for me. There was just so much going on. I was so busy. I hardly even like remember those days. What I do remember is I remember talking to people and like explaining like what we were doing. Like, oh, we're gonna move this over there, and then we're gonna put this there, and that'll be like this and this. And they just like are like just looking past me like, okay, just what should I do right now? Right? Like people's reaction to me were like that I was fucking crazy.
Like you were looking too far ahead, like in terms of the process of.
Maybe it's because I think more in like 3-dimensional space. So when I'm like, oh, we're gonna put that there and that, it'll be this ramp, and people are just like, I don't know. It just the general vibe I got people is when I was trying to explain to them what was happening is that they were looking at me like they thought I was crazy, and I didn't get it. And then it was years later, maybe 5 years later, when I was like, one night I was here because once in a while I have these nights where I close up and I have to go up on the loft for something, and I look and I'm like, holy shit! Like this place is huge, and like it's like it's only maybe once a quarter I take a second to like look at the grandiosity of what I'm doing, rather than being caught in the everyday rat race of, oh, well, I gotta do this, I gotta keep it going. So
Gotta stop and smell the masonite.
Yeah. So it was like 5 years later I realized, oh, I get it why people were like talking to me and looking at me like they thought I was crazy when I was like, oh, we're just gonna do this, because it was crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you remember those days when we were like building the park?
Dude,
and,
you
like,
know, if you think that's the reason why they thought you were crazy, I think it was just because you're because you're actually crazy. No, but I don't know, because I never felt that either. Like in the moment, like I was very much so like, you know, I think it's because I worked in construction too. Like sometimes I would do like some pretty large like commercial solar systems, and like, you know, you just got to start with drilling a hole at some point. Like you're not like drilling the hole like, oh my God, like it's going to be crazy wiring this shit next week. You know what I mean? Like, so when we were tearing down the park in the beginning, I was just thinking about that, like, because that's what you're doing. So I don't know if people thought you were crazy because you're like in the moment, like focused on a task. I don't really understand that, because what are they like? Are they overwhelmed by the bigger picture, and they're crazy? They think you're crazy because you're not? I think
people would come in to volunteer and they would just see the piles of scrap wood and the pieces of ramps and just like the chaos of that. And I'm just like, oh, we're gonna do this and we're moving that, and they're like, okay, dude. Like, yeah. Like I don't think they could see, and they couldn't see any noise in the static. Maybe is that the expression.
Or yeah, maybe they didn't have faith in you. They were like, how is he gonna pull this off? Type thing. Like he's never done this before, and they're looking around like they're overwhelmed.
Not trying to be clickbaity or anything. Like failure wasn't an option. Like I was like, I never even thought, what if this doesn't work? It was just like, I'm doing the thing. We're doing the thing. Like we're gonna do the thing. It was never like, oh, well, what if there isn't enough time? What if there isn't enough money?
That mindset makes sense too, because like when you're that determined, there's no challenge you could think of, even if you tried to, that would be insurmountable. Like you know that's true. Yeah. Like try to think of it, like, yeah, someone could come in and shoot you in the chest, but like there's no really like foreseeable challenge that actually wouldn't be something you could overcome. So why would you even for a second?
When I was looking up quotes for this podcast, I came across one that was I don't know if it was Carl Jung or Nietzsche. It was like, for those who have a why, they can surpass any how.
Yeah, that's Nietzsche.
It might have been Nietzsche.
Oh, I think so. I saw that one this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it somewhere else. Anyone who has a significant why can weather any how or something.
Yeah. There's different iterations of it. Yeah.
Norm Macdonald.
Probably.
Dude, it's so crazy.
But yeah, I think when we were building it, I was just happy to be a part of it. Honestly, and like in the moment, I was just like, "This is sick." That.
Well, that's when I kind of tried to phrase this earlier. How do I say it? The sense of purpose, the meaning derived from being embedded in, or more importantly, fostering a community. A skate park can be a home away from home, a place to find solace and lifelong friendships. Yeah, I think there's something big there where like you're just showing up to it exists now with just a skate park in existence. I'm coming here, I'm part of this thing. But like when we were building it, man, there was just like we were all just showing up grinding on the same fucking goal, you know?
Dude, it was fun though. Like I had the video of me knocking over the wall. Remember the wall that separated
The giant, that video?
Yeah,
You
I
have
have it somewhere.
still?
Yeah, I
Oh
can
my
find it.
God.
I can pull it up.
That was crazy.
Dude, I was when in doubt, sledge it out.
Yeah.
Remember that? We were just fucking like, dude, like, how do we take this apart? And I was just like, I'm just gonna just fucking hammer away at it with this mini sledgehammer.
The wall between the big section, like the box.
Yeah,
ramp
the
and mini ramp.
6 foot
Yeah.
mini ramp in the box
in,
section. Yeah.
Whoa.
in hindsight, we probably should have spent the time to dismantle that wall because those
2x6s.
they were big. They were like 2x12s maybe,
Those are
and they were
big
tall,
boards.
like those, and they went all the way to the floor.
Yep.
Like those, that wood was so valuable. Like these are what's above you. These are 2x8s. They were bigger than this. They were 2x10s or 2x12s.
wow.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was big money
Yeah.
lumber.
I
And
just
we
fucking
let that thing go.
yeah, remember
What if it just falls over?
Blaze, remember the Roland piece was against the wall next to it?
Yeah.
Like I was standing on that where that Roland was.
Yeah.
And it was connected by like a couple more nails to that Roland piece. I was standing on that and I just slammed the fuck out of it with the sledgehammer and the whole wall tilted.
That's
Just
crazy.
came down. And it's we have it filmed in slow mo. What are you watching?
Parlett sent me a clip of you doing a blunt grab fakie on a 30 rack of beer in his mini ramp.
Yeah. Bro, that was badass. And Parlet's ramp was sick in his backyard.
It was outside, right?
Yeah.
I love you and Parlett. Like the skateboarding community is so like niche-y and like
Frederick?
yeah, niche. It's like you guys were some of the people in the skate community that were willing to show up and help, and like we're lifelong friends. And then there's so many other people in the skate community which is like they're not like they might crack the door and look.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I feel like there's basically nothing I could have ever done that would have made me in with like the cool sect of Rochester OG skateboarders. Like it just unless I grew up here and skated with them when I was younger, it's like it was never we were never gonna have that positive relationship. It's ambivalent at best.
I don't know. It's not that. I don't think with shit like that, when people say like skateboarding's clicky, or people say it about stand up a lot, like, oh, the Austin scene, it's very clicky. I don't even really understand what that means because, you know, in any community that you get into, there's like groups of friends within that community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you either like like begin by striking up conversations with people within those smaller groups, and then you become a part of them because you get along with people in that. Where it's like you see like a group of people where it's like, oh, they're so cliquey, but then it's like new people become a part of the group because they become friends with them. So it's not like they're not accepting new people. It's just that like,
I think it's a level of how permeable the group looks.
yeah.
And
what are your qualifications for joining said group?
I guess it's certain like I obviously I have a bit of a wall as well. Like I'm pretty like
Well, yeah, everybody says you're like
pretty reserved up front, but my wall is pretty thin. All I have to do is interact with you enough times that I know that you're not here to try to take advantage of me or get whatever from me, and then it's like then I'll bend over backwards for you. I mean, I'll bend over backwards for
he'll bend over forwards.
literally any customer that comes in my door. I'll do pretty much anything to satisfy them, assuming.
Well, yeah, it's a matter of if they're genuine and they make the effort, then you're a good guy to talk to and you're nice. But people, I think it's because people are always like, Dave's like an asshole or he's unapproachable. It's just, I think you have resting bitch face or something.
Well, that's true. Yeah. My daughter has it too.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, for sure.
That's
It's like
awesome.
it's like this little part of my eyes that slant down that make it look like I'm scowling all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
people say
also-
that. And plus, like, you gotta start mopping this place, you piece of shit.
Yeah, right. Dude, it's been funny because now I'm posting the videos of me fixing ramps and people will comment like, "This place is always fucking broken" and blah blah. Like, so you realize that, you're commenting on a picture of me fixing it, telling me I don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these people, like, you can't make shit like that up. It's like these people, like, they're mentally, they're broken people.
Parlett told me just to ignore the haters or engage with them positively because their comments. Like it said, if you get someone that comments on all your stuff, like that's good because he's helping your engagements.
Yeah.
But it is pretty hilarious. Like I actually started doing stuff in my videos intentionally. Not, I don't want to say I'm doing it wrong, but I'm doing it in a way that I'm opening myself up for criticism on purpose. It's because I want the people to comment. Like when I did that rail video the first time, I accidentally hammered the post. You're supposed to put a nut in the top of the post and then hammer the nut so you don't fuck up the threads.
Okay.
which is common sense.
You got to hammer the nut into the thread.
No, you put the nut on the top of the post. So when you hammer the post, with the concrete, you don't fuck up the threads.
Right. Yes.
So I did the second video. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna put a nut on it again. So someone will comment and be like, you already fucked it up. You're supposed to put the nut on the thread.
Did someone do it?
Of course. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think on TikTok.
But then also, by the way, yeah, exactly. Like you're rage baiting people.
Yeah. Like,
Parlette's genius on that. Or I'm not sure how he's implemented that, but he knows all about
like
it.
87 million views on Facebook in the last month or some shit.
Oh, this past month he did?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. Again.
Dude,
I'm gonna look at that.
ridiculous,
Dude, he's beast.
It's crazy.
I remember his first video that popped. It was like he finds
The frog?
Yeah, the frog. And
I'm gonna make one of those videos. I'm literally gonna copy it and be like, "You'll never want to guess what I found inside this ramp," and I'll unscrew it and open it. It'll be the stupid fucking frog again.
Dude, you should put a real animal in there. You should put like a bunny
deer.
in there. And it's alive. Bro, I do have a bone to pick with you though about building the park.
Yeah. All right.
So when we're building this park, I have all these suggestions.
Okay.
You know nothing about skateboarding,
That's
but
not
you
true.
do want. I mean, you said it yourself. This place is massive. How many square feet?
22,000.
22,000 square feet. I have endless suggestions on what would be good for skateboarding. This guy takes none of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What are you gonna say about that? You just think I'm an idiot, or you don't trust me?
Like what?
I don't have anything specific, but there was like, well, no, there's just endless suggestions. Okay, you want me to come up with a specific one?
Sure.
You even agreed that you wanted to do this. We wanted a mellow double kink rail, whether it was down
I still want that. Logistically, it's tough.
Yeah.
With the way this.
But
space
okay,
is
here's
made.
another suggestion. Well, this is one thing we always butted heads on, and you were just like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Where I was like, you need like a 4-stair with like a small.
Never. Stairs are retarded, dude.
Exactly. He thinks,
Retarded.
oh yeah, it's a waste of space, but it's not about like this is something you don't understand. Like, if you have a clip at a skate park and you're nollie heeling down a giant bank, it looks fucking dumb.
I
But if you nollie heel down
it
in
looks cooler, honestly.
Okay, so so I respect your opinion, but
it's wrong.
but no, it's not that it's wrong. It's just like it's just the opposite of like general consensus among like at least the skateboarding community, where
How
it's just
fast
like
did we put a board on the stairs at Rasp that stayed there forever? Made the stairs a ramp.
yeah. Wait, so you're arguing for his point?
Yeah, no, I agree with him.
Yeah.
I
So
also don't write
so then
skates, so,
nobody so okay. I'll take that point and flip it on you. When did you ever see someone skating the stairs as a gap over the ramp? Never. They would always skate on the other side down the stair part.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So it's like skateboarding, a lot of it has to do with like how does it look is very important. So yes, you are correct where as far as like basic utility of the space, it does seem stupid. But when you take into account like how important is the appearance of the trick
I'll tell you why.
and the
skaters
environment is into it as
because they
well.
want to measure their wiener. Know what skaters would love? If I took a drop like this big and somehow made it 5 stairs aside of 2x4s, and they could be like, yo, I can't clip the 5 stair. Because that's what skaters want. They want to be able. They have a thing for
Young skaters, you want to be able to measure your accomplishment with a number, yeah. For
Yes.
young people especially, but even for older people, like
Well, I had a skater who will remain nameless.
Will Williver.
No, he was here recently.
Dude, he's beast.
He's
He's
awesome.
so good.
So I built that little baby Euro gap in the back section,
yeah, good Euro.
and it's like this big, right?
It's hard to skate, but it's fun.
And it's a perfect Euro for a little kid. It's like literally like the Tykes,
Baby's
my
first Euro, yeah.
right? And I had some Facebook status from some skater being like, the local skate park built the dumbest fucking Euro gap. It's like 2 inches tall. It's useless. I'll never go back there again.
I'll never go back. They
Yeah.
really said that.
Yeah, and then they recently, I don't know if someone tagged me in it or I liked it when they posted this 10 years ago or 7 years ago.
They resurfaced.
They recently re-commented on their own memory of that post and were like, yeah, and I still haven't gone back. and I like that comment.
That's actually, you gotta respect that. That's fucking.
I'll tell you who it is off camera. And,
Okay.
it'll be not like, oh yeah, okay,
I'm gonna guess.
go. No, it's not him.
Really? I could have sworn it was him. Shit. I have a good idea of who it is.
What is your? Give me like your best. Give me some of your best memories when we were building the skate park. I honestly have very little memories of building the skate park. It was like a blur.
Well, honestly, it was a good time because you know Raphael was there for a lot of it, so it was like a good quality time with him.
Yeah.
And don't get to see him a lot recently.
Hold on a second, TJ.
What TJ say?
He wants smooth ground. We're working on it. A buddy of mine is working on patching the floors. We're working on getting the concrete all fixed up in the front section.
Yeah, well, okay. The ground is you know that is something, but that like while we were building it, that wasn't like something that I was fighting for because I understood like that's not priority when we're trying to put the wood where it's going to go. Like that's something you would concern yourself with 9 years later when you're actually now you're in a position to like really start making these refinements that you're making now.
We just tested a bunch of different products for the floor and on a couple random spots, and we're gonna let it go for like I guess the rest of the winter, which is 2 more weeks, and then we'll see what held up the best, and then we're gonna patch the really bad shit over there.
Okay. But yeah, the street section, like I mean the stairs are big, but yeah, it's tough. Like that small hubba, the hubba next to the Euro back there, that's one of your best obstacles. Like that's like there's actually like real utility behind that. And then there's a 3-stair next to it. The rail before it broke, that rail was incredible.
The pink one?
Before the pink one, the one that broke before the pink one.
Oh, the really, really small one.
Yeah, that one was incredible. But then the pink one's good too, but it serves a different purpose. And
I was thinking about cutting that pink one down and just re-welding it like 6 inches lower. So it's the exact same thing, but lower.
You really should do that because, especially from a skateboarder's perspective, this might not make sense for a bike because you could easily double peg that without really thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
But for a skateboard, like say I want to do a hard trick, like I back over crook down that rail. And that could have been very easily the first rail I ever back over crooked. It's very comfortable to try a difficult trick like that for the first time. But the pink rail, if I were to back over crook that, I would really, really have to like put a lot of thought and effort, physical effort into it. Like it's a huge jump in skill level for like any technical rail trick.
That whole thing across all 3 ramps across that are like fucked now. I mean, you've been here in a while. Yeah, the bank next to Euro is all fucked up.
You need to like take it apart and get underneath it.
The whole thing needs to get reworked, so that whole thing is gonna get redone. But I got some huge projects coming up.
Maybe I'll move back and you'll hire me
if you work for free. So anyway,
yeah. As long as
some other good memories when we were building the park aside from the giant wall.
Oh yeah. Shit. I mean, dude, I remember when we were like closing in on the end. There was like we were in the last few weeks, and I think you had already set a date, and we were just like hammered, like just like at the end of it, like you were like sleep deprived, and we were just like drinking 100 beers. And like we were just like pushing through it, and like you obviously are emotionally invested in a way that none of us really understood at the time. But I remember you like you were just pushing through the very end, and I just like sharing that experience with you of like the like the emotions you were going through were like weird because you were like happy and sad.
I was so.
It was very. You had a lot of like and you had like you were like I feel like you were confused by your emotions because there's a lot of different ones that were.
Well, in hindsight, with what I know now, working that hard and eating nothing but Mark's pizza and drinking all that cheap beer, like if I did that now without working that hard, it would ravage my body. So my body was all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah. You were a lot younger, yeah.
Yeah. What
were you, like 29?
No, I was over 30.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I would have been...
You were like my age now.
I would have been 30, 31.
Yeah. Dude, I know. I'm pretty sure you had your 30th birthday while we were building it. Or maybe that was the RASP before.
Well, I'm 38 now. I just turned 38. So, yeah, I would have been 30 when it started and 31.
You're not even 40? This guy's young as shit.
Yeah. Tell you what, I feel better now than I did then. I'll tell you that much.
Dude, it was just fun just like beating the shit out of shit with the sledgehammer.
Oh, dude, the clip of me destroying the TV with a 2x4.
Oh yeah. Do you still have that clip?
Oh yeah, I have that clip.
That's beast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it was fun too. Like all the scrap wood that you knew you weren't able to use, we would take it to your house and have a bonfire.
Oh,
those
yeah.
are fun. And Nate
Dude,
was
when
around.
I used the magnet to take all the nails and screws out of my pit, we had one of those like those Rubbermaid bins. It was filled like this high up with nails. It was so heavy, I like couldn't get it out of my shed alone. I once like I got it in there.
Dude, you know what I remember too? This is funny. I think about this all the time. Charlie's. Mm-hmm. You and Nate would go there. I'd pull up sometimes after. Like you ever still go there?
They closed.
Oh, Charlie's closed.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, because
actually.
you stopped going.
And Acme closed too.
Acme closed.
Acme closed.
Oh yeah, I think I did see someone post that. That's a shame, bro. The
Yeah.
pizza was actually great. Like that
Apparently,
was
it's
great.
reopening is something else now.
Not my bar.
Dude, yeah, there's some stupid ass names for bars around here now. Can't even think of one, but there would like be some
Yes.
name like
Oh,
that.
sorry.
It'll be
Nick,
like not your grandpa's bar,
get
and
one
you're
or
like,
two-
okay, just call it Acme.
Yeah.
Like,
Nick
But-
said no gray hairs, but yeah, I get a gray hair here and there, but I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
bro, yeah, what I was gonna say about Charlie's though is I remember like I forget if this was your move or Nate's move, but it was the funniest shit ever to me that you would touch tune a song so you could walk into it. Such a fucking beast move. Like he wants his intro music for the bar.
Well, my buddy Rich, whenever he knew we were there, he would play Nickelback Photograph on the music player at the bar from New Jersey. And I'd be like, God damn it! Yeah, like I'd Snapchat a picture of like my beer on the bar or whatever, or me, and then I oh great, now he knows we're here. Like and then look at this photograph.
That's genius, man. Touch tunes is so funny. Like when they created that, they didn't think of how funny that was gonna be.
All right,
I thought you were gonna ask me about like skating and shit. Oh, you did.
Yeah, well, you wanted to talk about Gaza.
You kept bringing up Bernie Sanders. You're a Bernie bro? No, this guy likes Vivek Ramaswamy, probably, this fucking guy. Actually, pretty cool guy. As a fellow Indian.
He worked in the pharmaceutical industry, which makes him kind of
Dude,
suspect.
I love pills. Sometimes I'll just take
All
a
right.
handful.
So, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Wait, I thought you had one more before the...
No,
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me another Analian type thing.
not really.
Is Malachi still in the chat? That was, like, unhealthy. I'm pretty sure he just Googled diarrhea.
You might have, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Favorite
Wait.
Rochester skater?
Johnny Goople.
Good one.
Dude, why? Nick's texting me. He's in the chat.
Dude.
Oh, he sent me the video of you, like you looking at your phone.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, that piece of shit. Yeah, obviously, you're building a skate park, busting your ass. Every once in a while, you check your phone. Dude, who's working harder? The guy that checks his phone once in a while, or the guy that's always looking at that guy, so he's ready when he pulls his phone out. No, but I was on my phone a lot. We were all looking at our phone, dude. But yeah, no, Nick has a point.
All right. Who's your favorite skater overall?
Guy Mariano.
Best pizza in Rochester.
I'm gonna go Mark's. It's unpopular
Get the fuck
opinion,
outta
but
here.
I'm gonna go
Best
Mark's.
tacos in Austin.
Tyson's.
Who's the GOAT of comedy?
Louis C.K. by a lot.
Wow. Who's your favorite comic? Same answer.
Yeah, Louis.
Crudco or Pastime?
Dude, obviously crud.
Alan or Aaron?
Dude, I'm gonna go Aaron because, you know, he started the thing.
Okay. Rasp or BFS? This is good with Blaze in the room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Rasp.
Whoa.
Red Eye or Cream Ale?
Red Eye.
Tight or loose trucks?
Loose, just because it requires less thought.
What's the best book you've read? I spell it R-E-D.
Communist Manifesto.
Oh, okay. Not the Gulag Archipelago?
Mein Kampf.
Same thing.
Best Adele album.
21.
Can you tell the Adele album story?
No, wait, wasn't it
The Carlos story?
the Carlos story?
Do you not even remember this?
No, I thought you were thinking of Fleetwood Mac Rumors, but you got me that board. Thank you, by the way. I have that deck still.
No, I remember you told me the story.
Carlos?
When, you know Carlos, the dude from Buffalo?
Yeah, I saw him last night.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome. Wait, can you remind me?
Okay, so you told me the story when you were working at RASP, when I had been fired from RASP.
Oh, dude.
And you were listening to the Adele album.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And
Okay, holy shit. Yeah, dude. So Adele, honestly, Carlos in retrospect has a point. And he's the man. He's so gnarly. But he put his foot down, and I think I was just on a power trip, and and also just such an Adele fan that I was like Carlos had a point where he's like, bro, I'm trying to get gnarly in this bitch. I don't want to listen to Never Mind, I'll Find Someone Like, or whatever the fuck. I was 21, so it wasn't that. It was just a great album, but not really the vibe for a skate park.
well, you told me.
And well, he basically said something along the lines. I think he was like, bro, he basically put his foot down, if you don't change this, I'm gonna leave or something. And then I was maybe all right. It was something like that. Yeah.
He told you to turn it off, and you just turned it louder.
Oh yeah.
And then you said you just gave him his money back, and he just
Oh
was
my
all pissed
god,
off.
dude.
And his buddies were still skating. He just sat there the whole time.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. Dude, you know what's crazy is I saw him last night, and it was just good vibes only. I wonder if he probably doesn't even remember that either. But that's so funny, dude.
That dude's burned some bridges, though.
Oh really? He's an intense guy. He's incredible.
Well, from what I heard, is that he got the vert ramp from Rye Airfield, and they moved it to Buffalo.
Yeah,
and
New Hampshire, right?
And they made a key holders. And what I heard from Buffalo people was that he told the landlord they were going to use it for storage, and then they just built the vert ramp. And then the landlord showed up and was like,
he's like, yeah, I'm storing it,
yeah.
but I wanted to reassemble
And
it.
Basically, they got kicked out, and all the people that were key holders to the facility were like, "What the hell?" And then he ended up partnering with whoever it was that did the key holder skate park, which was both a key holder and a skate park. And then they moved the vert ramp there, and that lasted a little bit. And then because food court opened, 4 miles away.
Dude, food court's pretty unreal.
Yeah.
If you care about skateboarding, just copy them.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
terrible idea.
What do you mean? No, copy, just take little things from them, because they also have Food Court Skate Park also has Pittsburgh park. What's it called? Switch and Signal Skate Park.
Yeah, what about him?
It's
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Huh?
What did you just say?
I said originally, I was like, if you ever did any remodeling with
Okay.
skateboarding in mind, I would copy them.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant those two parks were related.
Same designer and builder, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't.
You
think,
can tell, right? Now that you know it.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's. I mean, we'll find out.
Well,
Certainly, it's just I don't think that. I mean, it looks sick. It looks like the barracks. It looks awesome.
yeah, it's really cool how they paint the wood. I mean, it's a little finishing touch, but how they paint the wood into the metal so it looks like all one thing. It's just kind of a cool looking.
I just don't know if that style of ramp is the best for
All encompassing.
Yeah, the reality is most of your money you're going to make are going to be from beginner to intermediate kids.
Yeah, of course.
And that park looks like it's amazing for a beyond intermediate to advanced skater and beyond. It looks amazing if you're a really good skater. I mean, I want to bike. I'd love to bike that place. It looks sick.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, because there's not really any obstacles that are too intimidating. A lot of the it's pretty versatile because, like, you know, there are big rails, but on that same A-frame with the big rail, that A-frame is an incredible beginner obstacle, and the bowl itself is a very, very small
Well, yeah, the bowl aside, the bowl looks great.
Yeah, but most of the obstacles are pretty small for the most part of that park, in both of their parks. It's pretty beginner-friendly, in my opinion.
Your poop buddy said, when I was 10 years old at RASP, that Adele blasting changed my life. I remember it to this day.
Dude, I wonder if he really... is he being serious? That's sick.
Similar story you should talk about when Lil Wayne was here.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, Lil Wayne.
Wayne.
No, we'll save the Lil Wayne story for
the next pod?
Next time Kevin comes on.
I was going to say
Dude.
topical, though. You're playing Kanye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Kanye. You remember that.
Food court will be interesting to see how it plays out because clearly that dude spent a lot of money, and
Yeah.
it is I mean, across the board, whether it's bike, scooter, skateboard, these industries are at like an absolute low point right now. So he's either positioned at the best time to ride the wave back up, or it's going to be really challenging. I don't know, like where he got the money to do that.
Well, yeah, you know best, but
I mean, I would guess based just looking at that, he might have spent $500,000 there.
on what? Just wood and...
Well, RASP was $250,000 to start up, and that was at 2010 lumber prices.
RAS was 100 times more wood than in Food Court Skate Park.
But also 2010 pricing.
Oh, right.
Food court, there's some concrete work,
15
there's
years
custom
later.
metal work in there.
Yeah.
And he paid someone to design
Paint.
and build it. At RASP, it was 2010 pricing, and
You're right, yeah,
and
yeah.
Tony, the main guy,
It could
built
easily...
Yeah.
It's well, it's
Yeah.
certainly at least
And like,
a
I
quarter
followed
million.
the whole project. You know, the fact that they redid all the floors, they ripped out the ceiling. Like, they put a lot of time and energy and money into that. And just coming from someone that owns a skate park, like even $250,000, like Blaze knows, like you're never making $250,000 back over a skate park flat out.
Yeah, it's a bold. It's very certainly a bold investment. I feel like you know better than anyone. Like you can't really prioritize any one discipline. You have to think of all of them. Like how do I
Like the reason
please everybody? And you know, obviously when you keep track of the numbers relentlessly, you're like, who do I prioritize
Yeah.
the most based on who spends the most money here?
Yeah, like, the reason I'm successful, air quotes, is that my goal was like, if I could do this and make $30,000 a year, I think that works.
Yeah, well, certainly in the beginning, you were like, if someone told you you could last 10 years total, you'd be probably hyped.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had a couple of years I was like $25,000 a year, $27,000 a year. The COVID year with the COVID boom, I did make over 30. That was really good. But this year I made 12. You know, it's been
You're
really,
talking about money in your pocket.
So I've never taken
Like what you paid yourself.
Yeah, I've never taken a distribution against the profits except for during COVID because things were crazy. You just sold everything out. Everything that was in stock was sold out. It was busy as hell. That was the only year. So it's just I take a paycheck when I can afford to pay. I usually take a paycheck during the wintertime. In the summer, I don't unless I need to pay rent at home. Then I'll give myself like 20 hours or whatever here or there.
Yeah.
So again, just knowing what the struggle is like, knowing that food court's in a mall and what he's paying per square foot has got to be much higher than what I'm paying per square foot. It's like, obviously I hope the best because I think a vibrant riding scene involves everything. Like you have outdoor parks, you have warehouses, you have DIYs, you have people putting on events. Like all of those things makes the whole scene better.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But, I mean, yeah, it's definitely feels like it's prioritizing skateboarding in a big way. It's just like Switch and Signal is such a great park. And, you know, the location of that park, it's just some random Pittsburgh warehouse, not really anything significant nearby. So it's probably a lot cheaper compared to the mall space.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that park's been there forever and people fucking love it.
And obviously if I had a time machine, I would do things totally different.
You would just let
And-
me design the whole thing if you were...
No, I would have, like, when I built the skate park, the BMX scene here was there was still fumes of how strong it used to be. Like, I'm dedicating way too much space to my box jumps for the bikes, and the box jumps are too big. Like, I could have downsized them and been smaller, and it would have been more congruent with my customer base. Bikes are only like 15% of my traffic, but they're more than 15. That's I mean, it is about 15% of my floor space.
Yeah, that is interesting that you would say food court is too advanced when this guy has the fucking Travis Pastrana section for
Dude,
like
no.
only the
Dude,
gnarliest guys.
as far as this scale indoor parks, I am the smallest one. If you compare me to like Rye Airfield or the Incline Club or any of like the classic indoor parks, like my ramps are small.
Yeah.
Like the average size of my ramps here are probably 5 feet. You go to those like those parks like Incline Club and Rye Airfield, that shit was big. It was like it was like X Games course big.
You know,
like,
it's a good park that's in that same vein as Skater's Edge. You ever seen that park?
Yeah.
Taunton, Massachusetts.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you go there, and first of all, it's like the warehouse is like, if this is 21, it's like it's got to be like 50,000 square feet, and it's just like giant video game shit. Yeah. But then there's also, you know, there's a little bit of everything, but like there's a lot of shit in there where you're like, Jesus Christ, like who is this for? It's pretty incredible. I can't believe that park's still open.
Yeah. Well, this is funny how rapid fire questions ended up here, but logistically, when we built the park, this was the two things. The front street section all the way over there, I didn't pay for that the first year, and I was potentially going to lose that space and give it back to Buckingham. So we couldn't put the So I couldn't put the bowl all the way back that way. And so then the street section was going to be this way because I might lose that space.
I remember that.
And that one factor is what really, really constricted the entire layout. And then the fact that the mini ramp in the middle was that big platform that Rasp built, that thing was like way too big to disassemble. So we're like, I'll just throw a mini ramp on here and we'll.
Which honestly was a decent decision because it's fucking cool.
Yeah. So like, my plan was always to get like 3 or 5 years, and then, if assuming I kept the street section, turn the street section this way. And then there's way more room to do something more in the style you're talking about, the more like kind of plaza style. But then all the outdoor parks we're getting now are all these like plaza style concrete parks. So that raises the question, would it be smarter for me to lean into the style of ramps people are used to, or try to offer something different than what's the free alternative?
Well, I think you try to do a combination of the two things where you kind of build something that you see popping up in a lot of parks, but it's like your take on it, so it's kind of like spun in a different way. Like it's tough to think of an example, but like, you know, there's a lot of skate parks that you see where it's like there are certain obstacles that you don't see in a lot of parks where you're like, why isn't this in every park? I should probably think of an example if I'm going to say something like that. But I don't know, like
also, building ramps is hard.
Super hard.
It is super hard. I like the new. Have you been to the Parrington skate park yet?
Yeah, it's
not good.
It's not horrible, but there are some things like where it's like there's certain obstacles where you can't hit them because there's no setup. Like there's like in the middle of the rail, where it's like there's a quarter pipe to drop in to hit a bank to rail, and it's like you have to pump your absolute heart out to do it. So there's some shit like that.
When I'm like criticizing it, there are more observations and criticisms because like I know better than anyone. Like you try to build something and then you build it and you're like, whoa.
It's not what it's not how I pictured it would feel once you're actually riding on it.
Rail, I was trying to make it so small. I thought it was going to be tiny. I was like, I want this to be like a glamorized flat bar, like just a little bit of A-frame.
But it's from I haven't gone over there yet, but from what I've seen in the video, it looks almost identical dimension-wise to Rock City Park A-frame.
No, much smaller than that.
Oh, smaller. I like to go
smaller
look at it.
in length. Yeah, and then I built it, and I was like, oh, this is like it's. And I actually made the rail longer than I thought it should be, and then I was like, I can cut it down if I need to, and it still feels a bit short for bikes, and it's still steeper and like taller than I thought it was going to be. And it was the old A-frame in the back, and I literally cut it in half in size, and it still feels tall. It's crazy.
It's pretty badass, though. I mean, that's not a bad obstacle. But yeah, I mean,
Well, I'll tell you
like
what.
one thing I will say is like when I was mentioning that rail earlier, the yellow one, like I think you have a flat bar. I think every single park should have like a rail, like a down rail that's small enough to where a beginner feels like they can board slide down a rail for the first time as like a child. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to cut that pink one down.
Let's do it right
I'll
now.
do it next week.
Pull out the Sawzall right now. Stay on the pod and just pull the Sawzall out.
Well, if I make it, if things do turn around, and if things don't turn around next winter, I'm done. I have 2 years left on my lease. So if next winter I don't see a rebound, if this year ends up being the same as the previous years, and next winter looks like the past 4 winters, I'm going to make the call. I'm not going to re-sign my lease, and that's going to be it.
Oh, really?
If this year does turn around,
So you'll close it out at 10 years, 2026,
yes,
late 2026.
I re-signed my lease for enough months that it would get me to 10 years. So like, I got that poker in the fire to just get to that 10-year mark.
Yeah, I mean it's a great accomplishment if you decide to end it there.
And to do 10 years and to close more or less on my terms, you know.
Yeah,
And
like
basically,
it's not like you were forced to end. It's just like you actually made that decision. It's cool.
yeah, and I would basically say like, hey, like this is my last year. You know, if you're interested in buying it, come talk to me, right?
Yeah.
But no one's gonna want to buy it because you'll take the numbers and you'll take it to a CPA and you'll look at it and you'll go like, oh, there's really
I
nothing
mean,
you can
it's
do
not
here. Yeah.
you can't be in it for the profit and think that's a good idea.
Like we looked at the RAS numbers and there was like stuff to massage and stuff to work and like you can cut this and you know they weren't doing this well enough. It's like it'd be hard to argue, you know, that there's much you could do to do much better here. Like there's like, oh, you don't have this feature or that feature, but like, you know, the marketing is there, the social media is there, like the programs are there, the summer camps are there. It's not like I'm not trying, right?
No, I mean you're doing literally everything you could
Yeah.
possibly be doing.
So anyway,
So what are you gonna do next?
So if things do turn around this year, and I plan to re-sign longer, which I do want to re-sign longer, then it'll be the big project to turn the street section around and go back the other direction it used to go,
Yeah.
which then opens up the door to obviously build more like that plaza style food courty stuff. Also, it opens the door to have a hip that would go left behind the bowl, and because we don't have a hip. Hips
Oh,
are
right.
huge. There's no hip. So
Yeah, we still have that hip that's to the right of the main Euro and the
That's
thing, right?
gone.
That's gone.
because the ledge is in the way now.
Oh, right.
And then that's going to be completely gone.
So that vert wall is off the railing then,
No, the vert wall's still there.
but there's just nothing to.
But the
hit
ledge,
it.
I moved the ledge all the way over. So like you can't really trick the hip, but you can kind of get over it.
You can ollie over the ledge and then still hit the vert wall.
You could try. We can go look at it if you
Okay.
want.
Yeah, I'd like to.
But here's the thing: this project I'm doing this summer. I'm doing a big project where I'm going to disassemble the bridge and raise it up and move it over, and then I'm going to take that first section you walk into, that mini ramp. I'm going to extend into that section.
the mini.
So it'll be a mini spine mini.
Ooh.
But the problem with that is that means we lose the NAR drop, and that's an important feature. So I have to.
It is important.
So I have to think of a way to incorporate another like similar 16-inch, 14-inch drop.
We would sesh the shit out of that drop sometimes.
It is a great drop.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of that's an important obstacle because, if you were like I never nollied or kickflip down something more than a curb, that's the next thing.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect stepping stone for
Yeah,
progression.
So the plan is to take out that little section. The quarter that's facing that side out that way is going to go across and then is going to bowl corner to kind of line, the ramp that goes toward the step up towards the between the bowl and the half pipe, right? Because the scooter kids come across the bowl, the deck of the bowl, and go down that and head towards the step up.
Yeah.
So the mini ramp will go across, and then it'll bowl corner here, and then it'll outside bowl corner, and then mesh into that bank. So
the
it'll-
bank that people
Goes up.
launch into the mini ramp.
other side, the one that's on the bowl
okay.
side.
Yeah.
And then where the mini ramp is now, the other wall that's closer to the water fountain, that will turn into a spine and go about 8 feet. And then the last 4 feet there would be one of those rollers that kind of matches the spine. So you would actually be able to kind of grind and kind of bowl corner it a little bit. So it should make the ramp pretty versatile.
Yeah, that'd be badass.
But again, we lose the little NAR drop. So that'll be part of I got to figure out a place to bring that back.
Yeah. Well, the only reason that the 3-stair in the back corner isn't a viable alternative is
Because
because
the ledge is too close. And the wall.
the ground, the land, the quality of ground on landing is preventative. But then you already talked about that. But it's like
The ground is good in that area. The ground is
really?
farther over.
Oh, maybe I'm remembering
No,
it.
it's just narrow
Weird.
because you're between the wall and the ledge.
Okay, yeah,
So
it's a little too tight.
That'll all get redone as well, potentially adding that drop or something. So,
Okay,
but yeah, we're at 2 hours 20 minutes. So
we did it.
the rapid fire questions turned into a whole hoopla.
What's the last rapid fire question? We already did it.
It was best Adele album. I was really setting you up for that story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
21 by a lot.
But what do you tell me? Last thing. What
Oh
do you,
no, actually 25.
I've never listened to an Adele album in my life. So
Oh, okay.
what are you into right now, though? Like, what's the thing? Like,
Music wise?
in general, like this week.
Oh,
What are you into? What's like the thing this week
so
or the last month or whatever?
the last month.
Whatever.
I'm really like I've been thinking about starting a video production company for the longest time because it's a business that I can run that's directly related to comedy. So I can once I gain success in that business, I can use it to get ahead in comedy, and then it's also something I want to do anyways because all my favorite comedians are also filmmakers. So it's like they're like right next to each other. So it's like a way to find financial success in the short term that's not taking me too far away from the pursuit of comedy. So I've just been looking at cameras, like what camera am I going to get this year to like pursue that. And I'm like watching a million videos like Sony FX3 versus FX6 and FX9.
Well, coming from someone that did photo and did video, I'll quote Henry Cartier-Bresson, who's a famous photographer. The most important camera is one you have, right?
Yes.
So everything is pretty good these days. It's just really about learning how to use it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is awesome now.
Yes.
I just got this Nikon Z6 II, and it's incredible. Like all the new cameras are incredible.
Yeah.
The thing with all the mirrorless cameras, it's like you have to know even more with the DSLRs and the mirrors because you all different lenses and the focal lengths or whatever. But really, that's only part of it. Like it's more about the composition of the shot and piecing together like the production side of it.
Yeah.
You can always hire someone who knows how to use the equipment technically.
Well, I need to learn that too. Like I didn't even know what the exposure triangle was until recently. I'm like reading about all this shit. Like what is the aperture and the shutter speed and the ISO, like, and how do they work against each other and what's the shutter angle?
Yeah.
So I'm like starting to just like learn all of that to like eventually know everything I need to know. But
We don't going to go down the whole wormhole, but I'll give you the analogy I've talked to him about. It's like cooking, right? So like your aperture is how wide it's open, right? The shutter speed is how long it's open for. So it's like how hot the pan is and how long the food is in it. So like you could achieve a similar outcome, but it's like, is it going to penetrate all the way through?
yeah,
And ISO is essentially how thin the pan is.
yeah, ISO is like the specific heat of the pan, like how quickly does it
And the
get hot.
lower the ISO, the higher resolution image you're going to get. Although as you go up, you get grain and artifacts, and it looks like crap. But in video, you can get away with a lot more higher ISO than you can in the photo world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like the ISO on like film, like maxed out at 800, and then now like cameras they get to like 15,000 and like 20,000.
Well, this camera, I could show you a picture. The Z6 II at nearly 12,000 ISO, it looks pretty good.
Still not much grain.
That camera, the Nikon D750, which was still like, it's still a great camera. You know, it's a decade old. At ISO like 3200, it looks like similar to where that one is at like 12,000. And my first camera, my Nikon D40, was like at 1600. It looked like shit
Oh, really?
because the sensors have gotten so much better, so much better. It's crazy. Crazy to the fact where like a lot of the mirrorless lenses for these cameras aren't even like super fast, wide open f-stops because they don't have to be 1.8 or 2.8 or whatever anymore because the ISO makes up for that.
Yeah, and you're not adding grain, so it just doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. That's really
But
cool.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Well, FX3 is funny because it has like in-body image stabilization,
Yeah.
and then the FX6 has built-in ND. So you're basically trading one for the other when you make the decision.
Yeah, but ND filters, you can get those pretty easy.
Yeah, right.
$10 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, lately, what I've been into, I've been on a cappuccino kick for a long time. I got an espresso machine,
really?
hand grinder. Yeah. I've been really into this.
It's ridiculous.
Like it's
so
like an
crazy.
obsession.
Yeah, but yeah, I love it.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
They're
awesome.
awesome.
I'm all about it. At the scale and everything, hand grind it. Like I'm all. It's good. He got me some phenomenal beans from Chicago. They were great. I've also been into this band Action Adventure. It's like a emo pop punk band that we saw in Cleveland.
Oh,
And,
nice.
I've been listening to them like obsessively for like I guess since November. So
How many albums they have out?
not too many.
Like 3, 4.
A lot of them are very short albums as well. But,
Dude,
yeah.
isn't that the worst? Like I became obsessed with this one band, and then like they only have 2 albums. So then you're like, all right, now what do I do?
Well, that's better than getting into a band that's got like 100. Like I started
No,
listening
that's
to Tom
awesome.
Waits like 2 years ago, and he's got like 48 albums.
He just gets raspier every album.
I also got a ukulele this week, and I'm really fucking pumped
Oh
on that.
wow! You pull it out in the open mic night.
All right, listen, last thing, and I'm done.
Last
Okay.
thing.
I'm going through all these songs I know and seeing what I can adapt to playing on a ukulele. And I found this Lucero song I really like, but it has a unique picking thing that I can never make it work right on the guitar. But if I play on a ukulele and I just skip over that part and just kind of play the root chords, it's kind of fun, right?
Yes.
So I filmed it, and I went to upload it to my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel. And YouTube, because it was less than 3 minutes long, and I filmed it vertically, I suspect, it defaulted to uploading it
Shorts.
as a short. But as a short, you're only allowed 60 seconds of copywritten material. And and I have several songs on my YouTube channel that are me like singing and playing
Even a
other people's
cover.
songs, and they can identify it, the cover through it.
That's how good you were.
So it blocked it. And I was like, this is bullshit. So I was trying to upload it as a video, not a short. It wouldn't let me. So I even sent the video from my phone to my Google Drive onto my computer and then tried to upload it from a computer as a full video, not as a short, and it won't let me do it. Just flat out won't.
Is that because, like, so you think it would have worked? If you did it in the first place, it would have worked. But now it's like you're trying to
Well, I
re-upload something that got taken off so it knows.
I uploaded a song like last week, Tom Waits song actually, and it uploaded as a normal video, and it has a copyright claim on it, but it's not blocked like the short is blocked. And like when I upload to TikTok and Instagram. Shout out Nick Parlett, keeps texting me.
That
And
boy
then
Parlett.
When I upload to YouTube Shorts, a lot of the music you use on TikTok and Instagram, you can't use on YouTube Shorts, and they block the videos get blocked.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
We should cover a song live on the air before we sign off.
Yeah. Well, last
I
time
was a highwayman.
I played an open mic, someone requested.
Along the coach roads I did ride.
What is that?
Sword and pistol by my side. The highwayman, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson.
Oh,
This guy's uncultured as all hell.
I'm talking about Tom Waits over here. Well, anyway,
Well, yeah, he did the Wire theme song.
the last time I played an open mic, someone requested I play Wonderwall.
Ooh,
And I said maybe.
that's actually pretty good.
So
Did you write that?
No, Oasis did.
Did you write that joke?
No.
That boy's.
All right, thank you for watching episode 82. Kevin Dane Willard. We'll have you on again to talk about.
when the sun goes down on my
God.
side of town.
This was probably the least structured one we've done, but this was probably the funnest one. I've laughed this hard in a while, let alone on a podcast. So
Really? Not even with Alan Prizzuti?
well, yeah. All right.
Hell yeah.
Tell the
Thanks.
people where they could follow you if they want to follow your comedy.
So you guys want to follow my comedy? I'm on MySpace at poopjerker69. And Malachi follows me on there. Dude, that's awesome. Dude, I'm gonna make that my profile picture. Yeah, follow me on MySpace at poopjerker69.
Oh, geez. Okay, it's Kevin Dane Willard on Instagram, right? You don't have a separate separate comedy channel on your stuff, or is it just your
No,
personal
but
account?
lately, thinking about making a different one. I don't know.
Do you think you'll lose some momentum doing that?
It's hard to tell because sometimes, like, you'll upload something that's like comedic, and then you need your followers that you already have to kind of build to kind of build the momentum for the post to then enter the algorithm and be shown to a larger number of people.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah, so sometimes I'm like, dude, a large percent of my followers like skateboarding content because that's like a 13-year-old account or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, sometimes I'll post something skating and then it gets like a lot of juice in the algorithm, and I'm like, oh, and then I'll post something comedy and then it doesn't. So I'm like, maybe this account is like not good. Maybe I need to start an account and then just have not really many followers, and then just try to, if I'm gonna grow, to do it that way. I don't know though.
All right, well, follow Kevin, and
MySpace.
I'll put that in the description on both the podcast networks and YouTube. I'll put links to your profile and whatnot, so they know where to find you. And for everyone, you know the deal. The whole like, subscribe, on Apple review the podcast. Everyone says it helps, so I guess it helps.
Bro, comment if he should mop more.
Oh,
Please answer.
If you
Are
want
you keeping the mop?
If you want to support the podcast or support the skate park or everything I'm doing, you can grab us on Patreon. I think you can do as little as $5 a month. It really helps, especially it is now mid-March. So
Pay up, pussies. Get on that page.
So as we're getting into summer months, the Patreon really helps the skate park. Also, if you'd like to just do a one-time donation, you can go to breakingfreeskatepark.com. You can scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and there's a link that says you could donate to the cause, and you can personally PayPal me anything you want.
Yeah, my Venmo too. Poop jerker.
Jesus. Well, thank you for watching. Kevin, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for letting me
Blaze,
do
thank
it.
you for hanging out for 2.5 hours watching this.
Blaze, you're a beast.
I'll see you at the skate park later, and keep grinding.
Let's film the A-frame now.